Hello. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Uh,
I'll just
l-
turn you up a bit. Yeah, that's good.
awesome. It's so wonderful to meet you finally.
Uh, Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. I just there's I just want to say that there's a lot of people, especially in the Discord,
Mm,
who have been really impacted by your output. And as silly as that may sound,
mm.
you know it's really it's really impactful. And you know I'm sure a bunch of people are very appreciative of your music.
Uh, that's great to hear. Yeah, I had no idea that people would be so into it to this degree. So yeah, that means a lot, and I'm glad that people are listening to my work. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. uh It's, I mean, you have a fan Discord. Did you let me ask you,
Yeah.
did you ever think you'd have a fan club of people who are just like, "Oh, we're gonna hold out hope. We're gonna hold
Yeah.
out hope for like 13 years
Yeah.
uh, for a new release." You know?
Yeah. Um, I I didn't imagine that it, excuse me. I didn't imagine that it would kind of wind up like this. In Melbourne, where I'm from, the reaction to what I do is pretty lukewarm to getting cold to frosty. So, it's not really something that I'm too familiar with back here in Australia. Like people, sure, when I've done shows, have approached me afterwards and been like, that's great," but you know, it's not something that I considered this kind of you know global appreciation, which I
Yeah,
do appreciate. So thank you
yeah.
to everyone who's checked it out.
It's it's very it's honestly very like surreal that
Mm,
you're more popular,
mm,
abroad than in Australia. It's
yeah,
I don't know how you feel about that really, but I I'd say it's pretty it's pretty cool.
it's like I don't know if it's a reflection of me or if it's a reflection of the passage of time and the fact that it's been quite a while since I put out a lot of my material, or maybe it's just the nature of the internet and the fact that can connect all these people, and people have access to things that are from decades away and countries away and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's honestly very like a lot of old internet
Mm,
stuff gets buried. And
mm,
to have this sort of, maybe not huge resurgence, but
mm,
a noticeable audience,
mm,
a small but very vocal audience
yeah.
is definitely, it shows the power of the internet. It's like how
Oh,
wonderful.
yeah. I really appreciate it. It is strange to look at, seeing, like, for me to see a lot of the reactions to my work being so positive, because it's not really something that I'm used to back here. So like I don't even know how to say this. I'm glad that what I've written is connecting with people, basically.
Yeah. This is gonna sound absolutely crazy when I tell you
Mm,
this, but some
mm,
people in the Discord, there's
mm,
there's this thing going around where
mm,
people are listing their top 50 albums,
mm.
and like all of your albums basically are like in their lists, and it's like, it's like that must seem very bizarre to top
That's
50 albums of all time, you know.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That is sweet. That's I don't know what I can say to that. Like, thank you, thank you. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it.
yeah, and it's just so, like, I don't even know how to describe what
Mm,
your work means to me, but
I
it just
appreciate it.
it connected with me at the exact right age. I
Mm,
was about 14, 15,
yeah,
and I'm like, oh, this is very relatable to
yeah,
what I'm going through right now,
mm,
and it's got a very youthful, uh, aesthetic to it,
yeah.
and like like and sorry for the pauses, by the way.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just there's so much to sort through and to ask, and
Yeah.
everybody is spamming me with questions. Um,
I don't have anything to
so
do for 5 hours, so like yeah, for the next 5 hours, aside from having to probably duck off to make coffee or go to the bathroom, I can, yeah, I'm available.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Um, yeah, okay. We're not even really in the interview portion of this, but
Cool.
I want to say, um, I didn't back in the day.
Mm,
I didn't discover like David Lynch and stuff
mm,
via your work, but
mm,
when I picked up on these references,
mm,
I'm like, oh my god, like as a you know as like a young teenager, I'm like,
mm,
wow, it's you know I never thought I would
mm,
have listened to a song
mm.
from 2006, which is
Yeah.
a reference, which heavily references and samples Twin
Mm,
Peaks. It's
yeah. Uh,
surreal,
Tw Twin Peaks, I think, well, a lot of what I wanted to incorporate into my music was fandom. So a lot of my songs, I'll write references to movies or references to other bands. Growing up, I always thought it was kind of funny when bands explicitly mentioned other bands in their lyrics.
yeah.
Like you got Pavement in Range Life mentioning being out on tour with the Smashing Pumpkins and talking about the Stone Temple Pilots and stuff. I always thought that was funny because it kind of broke the illusion of uh, every band existing in their own little bubble,
Yeah.
removed from all these other pop cultural references. And uh, like, to be honest, I'm a big fan of. Everyone's a fan of the stuff they love, so I want to talk about and write about things that I would want to hear. So if I heard someone else writing a song, say for instance about the prom scene from Carrie, we were
Yeah.
texting about that earlier, I would lose my shit. I would be like, this is great. I'm all about the Carrie song, unless it was terrible, by the way. But
Yeah.
yeah, so part of my writing, I didn't want to be too precious about saying, oh no, that's too lowbrow, or that's too ephemeral pop culture to
Yeah.
put in the lyrics. I was like, no, let's be real about this. If I want to sing about Twin Peaks, I want the Twin Peaks song to exist, so I'm gonna make the Twin Peaks song. Um,
Yeah, it's and honestly, you've probably exposed at
mm,
least some people to
mm.
like Twin Peaks and
Hey, that's
like
great.
other pop culture. I mean,
Yeah,
Captain Planet,
yeah,
Captain Planet, like,
yeah.
oh my god, I was listening to
Mm.
4 cube breakbeats in
Yeah,
the car
yeah.
with a friend of mine, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "It's Talkshow Boy."
See,
It,
Captain
that's the
Captain Planet is a big one as well because that is, and a lot of people overseas might not know. I mean, why would anyone know this? But unless you're Australian, but that was for a great deal of the '90s when I was growing up. That was uh, regular, like that was shown every weeknight on ABC, which is not the same as the American ABC. It's this ABC, Australian Broadcasting Corporation, which is free government-funded TV station, TV network, the public broadcaster. And that, yeah, every evening around maybe 5:30, 6 p.m. or something around then, they'd show Captain Planet 5 nights a week. So that was a regular fixture growing up on my TV. So there's that little kind of nostalgic thing going on there.
yet another like uh thing you put in there from
Mm,
youth. It's like
mm,
it just adds to the charm of it, you
mm,
know, because when I listen to your music, I
mm.
you know, it's obvious that it comes from a very personal place, and
Yeah.
and and that's like so special to me that you just write
Mm,
what you know, and it's just
mm.
it's very like I don't know. I dig it. I dig it.
Thank you. A lot of it's, yeah, it's kind of strange as well because a lot of what I was writing years ago, so the stuff that everyone's hearing recently, uh, that a lot of that I'm like a lot of that is very, like you said, it's very personal and very unfiltered. And also I was quite a bit, or consider, you know, obviously quite a bit younger. So
Yeah.
I was more inclined to wear my heart on my sleeve or uh, just mouth off in a bratty way or say things without really considering the wider consequences or deeper ramifications of what including that lyric could mean or how it would be interpreted.
Yeah.
So there, in for myself at least, and maybe this is not the case for other people because you know other people aren't in my skin. But for me to go over a lot of the old songs and lyrics, I kind of will even recoil like a little bit just
Yeah.
because I'll be like, "Ooh, it's too
Cringe.
much.
Yeah, cringe a bit.
It's too
It's
much." Like, and
yeah.
I get that. Like, I get that appeal. Like, some people are like, "Oh, you know, cringy stuff's kind of good, or kind of got a purity to it, or some kind of an appeal like that." But definitely with a lot of the earlier Talk Show Boy stuff. Just super unfiltered and difficult for me to listen to in retrospect as a result. So I'm trying to take more care with what I write these days and be more deliberated and more uh, yeah more
Yeah, well
conscious of what I'm putting out
that's
and the messages I'm putting out.
that's a but that kind of relates to the theme
Mm,
of being youthful, you know.
yeah,
You're learning and you're
yeah,
becoming more conscious of
yeah.
you know what you're putting out there, and
Mm,
I think that's really neat,
mm.
and
Thank you.
it's honestly I yeah I mean the world collectively
Mm,
has been going through a lot lately, but
yeah,
I've been going through a lot lately,
yeah.
and oh, and by the way, I will
Mm.
edit out some stuff if you know, it's I'm yeah, so
It's your movie. It's your, you know, um, yeah. It's all good. Like,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I've gone through like heartbreak
Mm,
recently, you
mm.
know. Uh
I'm sorry. It's
yeah, no,
rough. It's always rough.
yeah, and yeah, it was my first heartbreak too.
Uh, uh,
And
yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah, no, it hurts, and of
Yeah,
course it's going to hurt. But
yeah.
your music helped me kind of cope with that. You know,
That's
and
great. That like yeah, that's great. If it helps, that's fantastic. Uh,
yeah,
I
and
yeah, I find that sometimes it does, like listening to something cathartic, or
yeah,
it can be cathartic to listen to someone who's gone through similar stuff.
yeah, it's extremely cathartic, and
Mm,
while you may cringe and recoil at your
mm,
old stuff, I think that strikes a chord with people because it's like,
mm,
somebody's going through the same, or somebody went through the
mm.
same things or similar things that I'm going through, and
Yeah.
I think there's a really deep connection there,
Mm,
because I was again on the Discord. I was talking
mm,
to people, and they're like, yeah, uh, you know, their music has helped me through rough times, and
mm.
and I'm just like, wow, this is, and we were talking about fandom earlier.
Yeah.
It's 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 weird, like it's strange to me, but it's
Mm,
also very I think it's very neat that your music is based in fandom and fandom
mm,
appreciation, and you
mm.
have a fandom of your own as
Accidental fandom, yeah.
yeah,
I I appreciate it. Again, I gotta say, I gotta give a shout out to everyone who cares, because like I didn't expect that to happen. So thank you to everyone who does care.
yeah, it's and yeah, once again, sorry if it's a bit rambly. I'm just like collecting my thoughts,
That's
and
okay. Like I'm the rambliest person you meet. You're like, I'll be up here, I'll be over here, down here. Like I'll jump around. So
I
go.
mean that's even reflected in your music, so
Yeah,
that doesn't that doesn't surprise me all too much.
it's all
But
good.
yeah, it's just so it, I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but you
Mm,
were almost like an enigma before I reached out. I'm like I'm like, man, I have this music, but I don't
yeah,
know much about this person, and
yeah.
that's kind of why I reached out, because I'm sure people would like
Mm,
to know more about you,
yeah,
your creative process, your
yeah.
you know
We can talk. I think a lot of honestly why I probably haven't been as active on the internet with regards to plugging myself or pushing myself is there are a whole range of a whole range of reasons. Number one is there's a lot of games to play. There's a lot of social media sites. There's a lot of different avenues that you can plug yourself down, and everyone's always plugging themselves. And there are so many different, and then, like
it,
I don't want to pay for Facebook ads. People pay for sponsored Facebook ads. I don't want to. I'm conscious of oversharing. Like I'll be on Facebook and I'll be or scrolling past people and seeing everyone constantly posting about their breakfast and about this and that and the other one. I know people who, do 50 tweets a day
yeah,
and stuff like that. And I mean, if that works for you, cool. But like part of me, especially back in the live journal days, had a habit of vomiting up so much information about myself onto the internet, and my innermost feelings. If something wasn't going well in my relationship, it would become a public uh, thread, like, and then I wasn't the only one who was guilty of this. My friends, people around me, everyone, it was just a culture, back
yeah,
in the day of just vomiting up. Like it was an extension of like, people would do personal zines and write their innermost thoughts and fears and everything in their zines. With live journal, at least I would and other people would as well. Just again, treat it like a, you know, every day, dear diary, this is what was going on in my brain. And part of me didn't necessarily want to have all that for public consumption. So I kind of made a, or maybe not made a as decision, but kind of toned down the amount that I was putting up onto the internet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could be, you know, part of it as well. Like also other people, it's very, everyone's trying to get heard, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be a voice fighting to get heard and being like, hey, everybody, look at me, look at me, look at my cool new thing, when
Yeah.
there's so many other people who might, you know, be women or people of color or other people whose voices might, you know,
Trans people, non-binary folks.
absolutely. So yeah, you know, there are so many other voices to hear. So part of me was just also like, yeah, why me? Why should I always push me? But then
Yeah.
again, everyone's allowed to be their own creative person, and to, you know, it's not a crime to be a creative. It's not a crime to do this thing. So I mean, I'm like, because it's in my nature, I'm not exactly going to stop
Yeah.
being creative. Like, so um, yeah, I don't know. Frustrations with the machinations of the industry, and which I don't really engage with on a, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you're 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 pretty underground. I'm just gonna say that, you know.
I think it's safe to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, and I think honestly that's really cool though, that it's not like that. While I want to promote your stuff, yeah,
Mm,
because
mm,
I genuinely dig it. Like,
mm. Hey, I
you know,
appreciate that.
it's I do like that it's sort of like a cult, like a cult thing.
We
Not
got to
as
be
in like
careful with that, yeah.
not as in like a cult film. Like
Yeah.
you know, you're hmm what I mean, like John Waters. Like,
Hey, I'll take that. I've got it. Like, I love John Waters. I got a lot of John Waters tapes over there. I don't know if you're going to use this video for the actual video essay, but I'm just going to tilt the camera ever so slightly. You can see my mess. You can see hundreds and hundreds of video cassettes there.
oh my god.
There's a lot of John Waters in that pile. So
Yeah,
yeah,
uh so and, and yes, I'm gonna use the video portion intermittently in the video essay.
yeah.
So
Just cut out all the bad angles, anything wrong like
yeah,
this, or you know,
yeah, I'll show your
100%
good.
hot. That's the goal.
Yeah, I'll show your good side. Don't worry.
Thank you.
But yeah, a little anecdote about John Waters,
Yeah,
specifically uh, Female Trouble.
fantastic movie.
I love that movie. But the first time I tried LSD,
Yeah.
I Female Trouble was playing on this channel
Mm.
called Turner Classic Movies.
I know the one.
Uh,
We had that here on cable.
yeah. So I was just watching this movie,
Mm.
and I'm like, I was already familiar with, you know, John Waters, and I had already seen
Mm.
the movie before,
Mm.
but I that was like one of the most enjoyable viewing experiences I've ever had
Yeah.
while watching a movie. It's just like I mean
Yeah.
that's what John Waters did. He took like acid or whatever and saw like 5 movies a day or whatever.
There's
And
like another thing that I really, yeah, and this is really quite interesting, um, that you bring up John Waters as well, is like one thing that he does or has always done, which I really appreciate, is and definitely tried to incorporate it into my own work, is a celebration of low art or low culture. So you get a lot of people, and maybe it's not so much these days. Maybe these days we've got more of a celebration of low culture, but the idea. Let me just say this as articulately as possible. Um, I in my music, start at the beginning. Low culture's fine, okay. The people are precious about low and high art. People will think that low art, like, you know, reality TV or Ricky Lake or WWF or, you know, comic books, is somehow lesser or not conceptually sound. I want to engage with low culture.
Yeah,
In my work, you know,
I
John
mean, like,
Waters was all about it.
yeah, I mean, like in my work,
Mm,
which I do like visual effects, and I'm like
mm,
primarily like an editor.
yeah,
Um,
cool.
but and in fact, I'll send you some of that stuff.
Yeah, please.
Um, but I I told you that I shoot on like Super 8 and 16 millimeter,
That's great.
and I'm like, and by the way, I'm going to be turning 20, so I'm 19,
Very good.
and so I'm just like there's a lot of like homage films like
Mm,
nowadays that are kind
mm,
of tongue in cheek and like, oh haha, weren't movies in the 70s so goofy, and you know,
yeah.
and I'm just like, no, I want to make a film that feels like it was made in the 70s, no tongue in
Mm,
cheek, just like, just, you know, that's what I want my work to be, just a
mm,
celebration of like trash cinema
yeah.
and like the grindhouse and like, you
Yeah.
know, I
I mean, there's a scene for that. Like, there people are, you know, into it. Like, and I mean, I guess there's a lot of parallels with, you know, that kind of grindhouse style of cinema or real low budget filmmaking and, you know, low budget music making, just low budget, low tech art making. You do what you can with what you've got. You look around you, you say, oh, I've got some cellophane. I can put that over my flash and have a little bit of a filtered colored gel type thing going on.
yeah,
You know, you use what you got, you innovate, and that's why I appreciate art that's made from people who uh, aren't making it out of much to begin with. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a very impressive thing.
it's it's just very, that's why I think I've connected with you from
Mm,
one, it's a personal, oh, I can relate to this, but
yeah.
also it's like from an artistic you know, level, it's just like,
Mm,
I love the fact that you just, and that's another thing I want to get into,
yeah.
the equipment that you used,
Yeah.
because the when did you start making music, like, I
Mm.
because
Um, well, like, correct answer, most accurate answer would be like childhood. Like, uh, my parents would have enrolled me in music making classes, like just really uh, basic, you know, learning to make sounds with other kids type things when I was
yeah,
really young. Um, and like learned piano for a little while at school, from like maybe the time I was, I think, 5 or 6 to maybe the time I was 10 or 11, and then stopped my lessons because I was never doing my practice at home and playing really badly, and sight reading was just like, I mean, I can read music, but we have to read, in order for me to read music, like sheet music now, I have to treat it like long division and kind of work everything out really, really slowly. Like I can't just pick up a sheet of music and just play.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, with regards to how long I've been making music, so yeah, classes as a child, piano lessons as a child at school, and then guitar lessons a little bit later, around the time I was maybe 12, yeah, 12, 13, around then. Um, my dad bought a book called Country and Blues Guitar for the Musically Hopeless. Um, and
What
and
a title.
Yeah, that's great. It was if you can find it on the internet, like there are worse ways to start learning guitar. Let me tell you. It was a book and two cassette set, and he also bought a little shitty acoustic guitar, and started playing around on that and learning to play, uh, one string songs and things like Sloop John B, and then that kind of gradually morphed into learning how to play "Come as You Are" by Nirvana, and I think the first song I like actually properly play on guitar was Molly's Lips, which I thought was by Nirvana because I heard it on Incesticide, but then actually later found out it was a cover of the Vaselines, who I love. And that's just a 2-chord song.
You are introducing me to like so much stuff that I have to look up. I have to look all this stuff up now.
Oh, look, if you're recording it, it'll be there. I'm gonna do my best to fill this conversation with all kinds of random little asides and things that I reckon are worth checking out. So yeah, there's
Yeah,
gonna be no shortage of that.
I am absolutely, I don't know about you, but I am
Mm.
absolutely loving this conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for organizing this, because I do appreciate it.
And yeah, it's just it's. Do you have any more? Well, let's get back on track.
Okay.
Uh, um, which we will get off of many times probably.
Yeah,
Um,
on track, off track, back to the track. It's
yeah.
all good.
um, yeah. When you were first okay.
Mm.
Okay. In regards to Talkshow Boy music,
Yep. Yeah.
how old were you when you started doing that? Because I heard you were like 16, 17 somewhere.
Sounds
Or,
about right. It would probably have been around the year 2000. Um, yeah, around the year 2000 or 1999, probably around 2000. So I was born in 1985, and it made it really easy when I went to school to know what year I was in, because in 1990 I was in prep. In 1991, I was in year 1 of school. In 1992, I was in year 2, and so on. So by the time 2000 rocked around, I was in year 10, and I had 2 years left of high school. And uh, like, to go back to 2000, you've got to remember that a lot of people are listening to Korn. A lot of people are listening to, or at least at my school, stuff like OK Computer by Radiohead,
yeah.
and Einama by Tool, and Kid A. I don't know if Kid A by Radiohead was out, but everyone loved Radiohead,
Yeah.
which is fine. But this is right when I was also starting to listen to stuff like Biss, the Scottish pop group Biss, who changed my life. Like, probably there is no bigger influence on Talkshow Boy than the pop group Biss from Scotland. Um, so yeah, listening, and also around this time, around the year 2000, 2001, I was also getting into making zines, because I would have stumbled across some zines somewhere in like a record store, and realized that, hang on, people are making their own comics and people are making their own publications, and they don't need to get anyone's permission. They're just photocopying this shit and typing it up, photocopying it, stapling it, and distributing it, and that's it. And then I was like, how empowering is that? I can create my own world. I can basically write whatever the fuck I want and draw whatever I want, and it doesn't have to go past any censorship body. It doesn't have to go past any editors other than myself. I can write about people I have a crush on. I can write about the bands I like. I can, again, it goes back to that super personal, unfiltered kind of approach. Sorry, I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. We were talking about Talkshow Boy. Yeah, so I started making music. I would have downloaded, I think the first software I used for Talkshow Boy would have been maybe called Mod Plug Tracker. And you can probably still download, I'm 100% you can still download this, Mod Plug Tracker. And it's a really basic tracker software. If you don't know what trackers are, basically it's a software where you can import samples, import WAV files, MP3s, whatever. Formats are boring. You can import sounds and arrange them in a vertical grid, and it'll play everything that you've arranged, and then move on to the next pattern and play everything that you've arranged from the top to the bottom, and then move, and you can arrange these patterns. And started making some songs on this software, or started making some beats, I should say, on this software. And all the time in school, I was writing lyrics in the margins of my notes in class. And when you have a song, and or when you start writing a song and you start singing a song, you're like, actually, this song is not going to away. This song is not going to go away. This is a thing now. Then start recording them, start putting them on the internet, and then one thing leads to another, and here we are today.
Yeah. That's wow, that's fascinating. That's
Yeah.
I think that's just, absolutely, I I would love to hear more about early attempts at making stuff, and just funny, amusing anecdotes about yourself. It's just very, like, I don't know what you want to get into. It's just
Well, stuff about making music. So, Perestroika Love, first Talkshow Boy. Actually, let's start even earlier. There was a website called somesongs.net, which my friend at the time was uploading their bedroom recordings to, and it's like a weird website where people would upload their bedroom recordings, and everyone else on the website would. I think they had a system where you could rate other people's songs as bad, okay, or good, and after X many votes, these songs would be allocated a point rating out of 10, kind of like a weird proto Pitchfork kind of thing, and then the songs would get ranked on the front page according to their rating that they'd been designated. So I uploaded a lot of the songs from Perestroika Love. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of the songs, but some of the songs from that I uploaded to this website. And there were some other notable people who also use this website. So, for example, there's a nerdcore rapper called MC Frontalot. MC Frontalot was using this website at the same time and uploading their songs or early versions of their songs to Some Songs. Also, there's a website, I think, I don't really know too much about it because I haven't really checked it out, but I believe it's called Toothpaste for Dinner. And there's someone called Drew from Toothpaste for Dinner. who also used some songs and
What
posted their
a
work up there. Um,
toothpaste for dinner. What a name.
yeah, I can't really comment too much on the website other than it's a thing that people
Yeah.
know about. I'm not one of those people. But yeah, Drew also used the site. But enough about some songs. After a while, I was like, I don't need to upload my songs to this website. I can just put them out on a tape. So I made a couple of crappy copies of Perestroika Love on tape once that was all done. Um, Gave those out to friends. Uh, that's a very messy album because definitely the most unfiltered one I've done. Again, a lot of my heart on my sleeve, a lot of it that's very difficult to listen to, and a lot of it that I wouldn't like. And this goes with all of my records. There's like a lot of stuff that I wouldn't write today, or that I would write differently if I was to do it today.
Okay.
I guess that's just the nature of time, passage of time.
What now? If you want to get into something specific,
Mm.
uh, what is something that you regret writing, or something you like would wish that you had gone about in a different way? Uh, if
Okay,
there's
so
any.
like I guess something like there's a lot of flippancies with regards to my lyrics. So the idea of being an edge lord, okay, um, back in the day, it was around the year 2000 uh, to get, how do I say this? I don't know if it's necessarily that cool anymore just to do extreme shit or to say extreme shit just to be like, to provoke a reaction and to be like, hey, look at me. So back in the day, there was a lot of shock value in uh, art. And I mean, even today, there's a lot of shock value in art. But
Yeah.
at least with what the art that I'm creating, I would like to try and have I'm trying to avoid shock value for shock value's sake these days. Um, so, for example, for me to write a song called "I Cut Myself," that to me, when I was writing it, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is a homage to "I Touch Myself" by the Divinals. You know, I love the Divinals. I love "I Touch Myself." I'm like, oh, I can do a song instead of "I Touch Myself." Let's do "I Cut Myself." I want to make it crystal clear to anyone who's watching this that that is not meant to be some kind of self-harm anthem. That is like I don't want anybody to. I want people to take care of themselves, and I want people to take care of other people. And of course, that means a different thing for everybody. I respect that. I understand that, but I don't want to be like there is a danger with me writing a song with a title like that, that it could be seen as being flippant regarding something that is quite serious. And although, like in a song like that, I do deal with real issues to do with, my depressed mindset or references to, Sylvia Plath or Ian Curtis, things like that. Um,
Hmm.
it is real. I do want to address real issues and talk about, depression and feeling like I'm on the outside looking in. Um, but also, I don't want it to necessarily be seen as me saying, "Hey, this is the way to go," and
Yeah.
that's a challenge that's popped up a lot is how do I write about things. This is my personal challenge. How do I write about things in a way that's real and honest, um, without necessarily uh, putting bad things or dangerous things out into the world. um, uh, there's these days, sorry if I'm rambling here.
It's okay. It's okay.
These days, um, well, not just these days, but if you look at something like Nick Cave's Murder Ballads, for instance, um, that is an album full of horrible stories about, you know, beatings and killings and death and violence, and um, it's fiction. You know, it's the
Yeah.
like Nick Cave's not going around killing. At least I hope Nick Cave's not going around killing people. He's telling stories, and that's the challenge that I kind of am facing with my work at the moment. Is what is the best, like it's a battle between fact and fiction. Okay, I want to tell facts about my life and my reality and my truth and my mindset and my world, but also I want to tell stories. And the challenge to me is, if I'm telling a story or if I'm singing a song from the perspective of an unreliable narrator, um, I don't want, I hope people don't necessarily think that all of the perspectives in my songs are necessarily perspectives that uh,
That you
are
share.
mine. Exactly. Like I think that songs are a good, or that music is a good way to, like film, to perform, to create a character, to uh, and sometimes that involves singing from negative perspectives and adopting a negative mindset, or you know, at least for the duration of the song, um, in order
Yeah.
to acknowledge that as a reality, not necessarily. Uh, yeah, basically there's fact and there's fiction in my music, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a tightrope that you have to walk between
Mm,
wanting to portray a message
mm,
and not wanting to like hurt somebody or be like hurt somebody with the content of the song, or be, as you said, flippant about
yeah,
it, you know.
yeah. And I guess that's one of the things that I kind of can look back on and say, would I have written a song called "I Cut Myself Today"? Probably not. Um, would I have written it differently if I did write it? Most likely. In fact, definitely. Do I regret writing it? Probably not. It's a moment in time. Do I hope? I just sincerely hope that it's doing more good in the world than harm. And again, I want to reiterate to my fans, um, and anybody who listens to my work, please take care of yourself and others. Um, that doesn't get much more simple than that. Please just take care of yourself and take care of others.
That's wonderful. That's honestly a wonderful message, and I will
Yeah,
I will be sure to keep that in there.
yeah,
Um, and it's I from just this brief conversation that
mm,
we've been having, I've
mm,
I've learned a bit about your character,
yeah.
and I just think you're a wonderful, kind person, and
Thank you.
you know,
No, that's sweet.
and yeah, you've helped me and more people than you probably realize, and again, that might
Mm,
be kind of comical, like, oh, this music I made in my bedroom
yeah,
is helping people, but really
yeah.
it is, and it's a wonderful thing that you were able to do that, you know.
I'm glad. That's a dream come true. Like if yeah, if I'm listening to music as a teenager and saying, hey, this is ticking some boxes for me and setting some stuff on off in my head, and then that makes me create art that in turn people listen to years later and like, hey, this is ticking some boxes for me and setting things up in my head, then hey, that's I just got to thank the people who inspired me um, to do this, because that's their momentum that's carrying forward, you know.
Yeah, it's a snowball
Yeah,
effect. It's
yeah,
it's you know, one creative person inspiring
yeah,
another, you know, and it's
yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
So
And
I've got a lot of thanks I've got to give to the Scottish pop group Biss, who started in 1994, uh, and are still putting out music to this day. If you've never heard the pop group Biss, you probably have. If you've ever watched the Powerpuff Girls, they do the theme song to the Powerpuff Girls. Um,
I love the
they're
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, well, yeah, Biss, who did the theme song, one of my favorite bands of all time, um, completely right on with their message, with their call to arms. Like, it's very immediate music that makes you want to stick it to the man and jump up and attack the world with your own beautiful creativity. And um, yeah, they like, I guess, looking over their CDs and records, they had a very, at least initially, a very cut and paste DIY kind of aesthetic to what they did. And that, like, looking at their sleeves made me realize, hang on, I've got scissors, I've got sticky tape, I've got a typewriter, I've got all this shit. I can cut and paste something today in my bedroom right now, and maybe next week it'll be ready to go. You know,
Yeah,
I can, if I have enough money, I can, let's work it out, burn 50 of these CDs. I can burn 20 of these CDs, and then you've got a release, and
yeah.
that's it. That it's done. So
I have a question
yeah.
about zines and uh, more specifically like
Mm,
the cover art
mm,
on your records.
yep.
Did you create that yourself or
Yeah. So Talk Show Boy, the first Talk Show Boy album, Perestroika Love, the cover of that is a photograph of myself that was taken on
Apple
the
computer?
really. Oh, no, it wasn't an Apple computer. It was a really, really shitty webcam. Really, really shitty webcam. The kind of one that you can find in every, well, not every family home, but like just your really entry level year 2000 webcam. Um, I don't even know. I don't even remember if it took color. Uh, that's where that one was from. Cover of Blood Sexy EP, again, not my favorite artwork at all. It's pretty bad. Again, it's just a shitty webcam photo of me, with literally MS Paint scrawled on the top. Um, Ice Police, cover of that was not created by me. The cover of Ice Police was created by Rowan McNaught, who is responsible for Pocket Clock Recording Company. Um, and he made that artwork. Um, Front cover of Watch As I Perform My Own Tracheotomy, again, is a photograph of left to right, again, Rowan McNaught from Pocket Clock, and then Holly, and then myself. And again, that was a very spur of the moment kind of decision, to take that photo and to use that as the cover. In retrospect, I'm not the biggest fan of that album cover. Uh, no offense to the people who appear on it. It's just not my favorite album cover. Um, Testosterone, this one. So this one,
Is that a physical copy? Is
so
that
this
a
is as, yeah, so this is as close to physical copy as you get. So in here you get this. You can see, I'll hold it up. This is different from the one on the internet, because you can see there's a little bit of white shit on my cheek, which is the photocopying process. Basically, something snuck onto that when it got photocopied. The back cover, if anyone wants to see the back cover, sorry, that's what the back cover looks like.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch of information there. I'm just going to hold that up there so people can read it.
Awesome.
I don't know if anyone can see that. Here at the side, you've got your obligatory Google search for Talkshow Boy nude pics. What else do I say down here? 2004, 2005, 2008. Is that really 2000? No, that's 2006. You can see a bit of stuff going on there. Rah Rah Revolution. That it didn't wind up going on Rah Rah Revolution, but that's still on the cover. We were emailing each other, but it never happened. But it still made it to the cover. Please, redistribute my tracks. Please redistribute all of my tracks to all of your friends who believe in better futures today. What else have I said? Dedicated to interstate hotties. Testosterone does not belong to the boys club. There's a bunch of stuff on here. Also on the inside, this isn't on the internet yet, so we get to put this on the first time. You heard it here first. Maybe I'll scan this and get this on the internet soon. There's some guest spits on Testosterone. These are people who provided guest vocals, and here is the titles of the songs and the key concept in each song. So,
Frank. Yeah, dude. I was listening to "I Got a Melody," and I was like, "Is that a reference to Basket Case?" Like,
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it absolutely is. See my scar, it runs from the side of my hip way up to under my arm. We hope one day to be reconnected. Hey there, honey, what's in your basket? It's all about Basket Case.
Yes, dude, I love you, man. Oh my God.
I'm glad you love that. So that was that's Testosterone. Eventually, and like I said, I'm really fucking slack with getting stuff online, as everybody knows. But eventually, I will scan these things and get them online. So
awesome.
that's the cover for Testosterone. I also found a high res Watch As I Perform My Own Tracheotomy front cover and back cover. So the back cover for that does exist, and that will be out there.
I actually wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
In the video video essay, which is speaking of zines, I had the idea of like, oh, this will be like a video zine with a bunch of drawings and like, you know, and just weird cutouts and stuff.
Yeah, sounds good.
I was gonna ask you if you had any high res versions of the album covers, so that way I could, put them on there, because all we have really is low res, frankly shit quality versions of the covers. And
hang on, let me see if I can get you something right now. Hang on, I'm gonna try and send you something over in the chat. Hang on.
Okay.
I've just got to make sure that I can find it firstly. Okay, let's have a look. What do we got here? Sorry, I'm just going through. What do we got here? Okay, so I've got the cover for Watch As I Perform My Own Tracheotomy, which I will try and send to you. Okay. Will it let me? Oh, there we go. Sending through. So you should have a front and back cover any minute now. There we go. Let's have a look. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Seriously, thank you for that, because I was
no, that's okay. It's all good. I think it's kind of kind of funny as well that on the back cover uh, of Watches I Perform My Own Tracheotomy, I've got never stop ever. And then I just stopped putting out music for 13 years. That's pretty shitty. But yeah, you can see what that looks like. That was like
Okay.
theoretically to be printed out so everyone could make their own copies of the sleeve and fold it along the bottom and put it in a
Okay.
little
It
plastic
hasn't
sleeve.
it hasn't gone through yet, but hold on.
Okay, should be in the chat.
Let's see. Nope. I don't have it. Hold on. Wait.
Hmm.
Here, try sending it to me if you have access to Facebook. Try sending it to
Yep.
me on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look. Gotta find the
Yeah, I've
folder.
never used Zoom before, so
I use it at my for work all the
oh
time.
wait. Let's okay. There it is. It finally
You got
showed
it?
up. Here, I'm gonna download this and check it out.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
then so there's the front cover of that, on the back cover of that, and then yeah, Best Beast Ever front cover, back cover is like this.
Awesome.
I don't know if people can see that. Oh,
It's upside down. Yeah,
and
dude.
then oh, sorry.
Awesome. Just
And then there's the inside, which is still got my MySpace address, which I don't even think's existing.
yeah.
I don't know if MySpace is still active.
Wow.
Kind of like my font there.
This is yeah, this is what this is like some archaeology. Like it's
Yeah.
it's awesome. Like honestly.
Yeah. So we did just CDRs of those, sell them at gigs. Like
Cool.
put that one in a pink one, put that one in an orange one.
Now there are people
Mm,
again on the again on the Discord
mm,
yeah again on your fan club
mm.
um which I think it's called like the Talkshow Boy Top Notch fan club or whatever.
Yeah.
And
It still blows my mind that that's even a thing. So whoever's idea that was, thank you so much. That's really, really sweet.
yeah,
That's really sweet of you.
yeah, they were asking about physical releases
Yeah.
of the old. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody's excited for your new
Mm,
stuff, or
mm,
but people were like, "Oh, I would like to own a copy of like Testosterone, or
mm.
and it's just
Um,
like,
yeah, I don't know if it's going to be getting a like. I've, mm, see, there are so many things to make and do. Um,
yeah,
this one is already out there. This one's already on the internet. This one, like a physical copy of it, maybe one day.
yeah,
Testosterone, maybe one day. Uh, I would like to press it to vinyl. That'd be sick. That'd be amazing. That'd be so cool. But it costs money, and it
yeah,
costs money that I don't have,
yeah,
and it's if I did have that much money to say, oh, I'm just going to press a record, I wouldn't press Testosterone. I'd press my next record, you know? So really for that to happen, for a re-release of Testosterone to happen, it would really have to be somebody like number one, I'd want it to be on vinyl because I
yeah.
like records. I spend so much money on records.
Oh
Uh,
man, me too, me too.
um, and it would have to be someone else paying because I'm not in the position to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
basically.
mean, I'm like, I'm in the Discord. I'm like,
Mm.
guys, like that stuff costs money, and also they're like, oh, get Adrian to come on the Discord and say hi, and I'm like, no, guys, like
Yeah.
guys, I told you, like,
Like,
he,
like I'll say hi from here. Like I appreciate, yeah, I appreciate that, but it's like I said to you, it's probably best if I stay out of the Discord. Um, it's like I don't want to. I want to
yeah,
avoid a Truman Show type
yeah,
scenario. You know, like I love that it exists, but I think if I enter the Discord, it will uh,
it'll
immediately
get
to exist.
hectic,
You know,
it'll get
yeah.
hectic,
It
exactly,
would turn from everybody having a cocktail party into everybody forming a digital ring around me standing in the
yeah,
center. So I kind
and
of want to avoid that.
yeah, that's kind of a bit anxiety inducing, I'd
Mm.
imagine.
So with all due respect to everybody in the Discord, love you so much, but I can't join. I
Yeah,
can't join. Yeah.
yeah, it's called the Talk Show Boy fan club, okay?
Yeah.
Not hey, this is the Talk Show Boy uh hour where Adrian comes in and
Yeah.
says hi,
Yeah.
you know. But I do that that being said, I do
Mm.
appreciate you being open to this interview because or
Why
well,
not?
whatever this is. I'm not
Mm.
really asking. We're just talking. This is, you know,
It's working.
yeah, yeah. And sorry if I come off as like a major freaking dork or whatever, but like, I,
Likewise. You know, it's totally fine.
yeah, I just, I don't know. I'm giddy. Okay, I'm like, yes,
No,
making
you're fine.
making making connections with cool people that I admire.
You're sweet. No, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm like absolutely like I'm absolutely starstruck. I'm like wow, this is awesome. I'm
No,
having
it's all good. It's all good.
yeah, yeah. Um okay, back on track hopefully.
Mm.
Um okay. So do you have any like anecdotes about like writing or like your creative process or where were you in life when writing the respective records, you know.
Mm. Um. Hmm. I gotta like. I've got to look over my songs. I got to look over my song list. Um. So a lot of these. Okay. Well, how do I say this? I'm always writing songs. So without even trying, like on my phone now. I've got like a note in my notes section, and this is where I just like lately where I just keep heaps and heaps of lyrics, heaps of like I've got a whole TSB to do list with like there's a thing with 9 songs on it. There's another 34 songs that I've just like written, and these 34 songs that I've written here, these are things that may eventuate one day. It might wind up being like 12 of them wind up being good out of 34. Uh,
Yeah,
but I'm constantly writing songs, or the songs are constantly coming to me, rather, or I'll come up with a line and I'll be like, that's a really good slogan. A lot of it's about sloganeering. I think the people can be skeptical of slogans, but I think that slogans or concise slogans are powerful, and especially within the context of songs, people remember slogans. People remember catchy things, catchy, and a catchy phrase or a phrase that hits really hard when you hear it. that's a powerful thing. So also humor is a big one. So there are things that will amuse me and only me, and so I'll think, oh, that's got to be a song because I find that just too funny to ignore. So that, like, a lot of that will happen. A lot of the time it will be, ooh, what if I wrote a song that had this kind of a goal? So songs with a purpose. Let me think of a good example of that. So um, the song, let's say Testosterone from Testosterone, with that, I was like, hey, this is a really good opportunity for me to have some kind of a call and response type section. So I was like, let's work that in there. I'm trying to think of other things. So like the song I did, Touch the Queen, which was on a compilation, really small scale compilation that came out in Australia. Again, DIY release. So good luck anybody finding a copy of that. But it's on YouTube. With that one, I was like, hey, what if I just tried to do some kind of stupid oi punk type, tongue-in-cheek 70s, oi oi oi, like punk song with like snares on the offbeat and real snotty UK kind of vibes. So with that, I was like, oh, let's do that, and um,
Yeah.
that was the goal with that one. Um, yeah, different songs have different purposes, um, and I'm constantly writing. The best songs wind up being the best songs probably wind up on the album, or in the case of Perestroika Love, not
Every
just the
song.
best songs, but
Every
all the others
song.
as well. Yeah, yeah. Also, another reason probably why there's been so long between releases is that self that reconnaissance and reflection and being like, oh, if I'm gonna drop something, it better be fucking good. I'm not gonna like, I've done my time dropping stuff that's subpar. I don't want to drop another subpar song. Anything I put out has got to be, white hot, shit hot.
Yeah.
You're like, and this is a bit funny, but one of the truest things which I keep coming back to is Eminem, Lose Yourself, where he says, you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You're like really over, like this is something you hear all the time, but it's actually really profound. Despite the fact that it's coming from Eminem, it's actually really, really true. You only get one life unless you believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
So don't fuck it up. Like I blinked and now I'm 35. Um,
Yeah. It's
so yeah, it's kind of but this is the trade-off. On the one hand, I'm like, oh, don't release anything, because if you do release it, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be really, really, really good. And then what happens? Nothing. You
nothing.
just twiddle your thumbs and the years go by. And as you get older, your perception of time speeds up. So when I was 5 years old, a year was a fifth of my life. Now, 1 year is 1/35 of my life.
Yeah.
And as a result, at least I never realized this as a kid, but my perception of time, see, like every Christmas just comes quicker, quicker, quicker these years. So um, there is some truth to that. It's a race against the clock. So
Yeah,
eventually,
just put stuff out there.
yeah, put stuff out. I've got to put stuff out, but the right stuff, not the wrong stuff, and not the bad stuff, and not the stuff that's going to come and bite you in the bum years later.
Yeah, yeah. I say put stuff out there, and then
Mm,
I'm just like, oh no, this has to. As an artist, I'm like, this has to be perfect. You know, I've I've
mm,
written screenplays and stuff, like
mm,
full screenplays that
mm,
I've like in high school, I
mm,
wrote like 3 or 4 feature screenplays, and I'm
mm,
just like, oh, I'm not gonna make these, you know, this is trash. When I should have just probably made them, and you
Hey,
know,
yeah. The thing is now, like now you've got a backlog of screenplays. Now I've got a backlog of songs. This is like you can go back and you can be like, okay, let's say I want to do a film. Which one do I want to do? I've got, 4 or 5 I can choose from. But if you're
yeah,
anything like me, it'll be like, fuck those. I want to move on to the next one.
yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm,
Ah, man, it's just, yeah. But no, I am like excited
mm,
for your new stuff. Like, I'm just like, find it. Like, literally, I was
mm,
I introduced my ex to your
mm,
music, and
mm.
they really dug it,
Sweet.
and I got them into Twin Peaks as well.
Oh, sweet.
Um, and they're like, I love how this is just like, this is like, you know, ADD, like music. This music is like all over the place, you know.
Mm,
It's like, and I'm like, yeah, that's what, it's just so unique, you know. Obviously there's
mm,
referential
mm,
stuff in your music, but I
mm.
would say that it's pretty unique, you know.
Mm. At least back in the day, and especially like on stuff like testosterone, um, I was very much, I did have a very much more is more kind of mindset. Um, so part of it was I was okay with it being this kind of incongruous pastiche of all these different influences and references, and I like the cut and paste kind of aesthetic uh, kind of goes hand in hand with that. So there's a bit from this, bit from that, bit from that, and I've sticky taped them all together. And even if it's a mess, it's my mess. It's my collection of influences, and if they're jarring, then I'm gonna maybe sticky tape this one over here and this one over here. These days, like with at least more recently, the music that I'm making is like it's still pretty maximal, but it's less is more. So uh, maybe it's less what I'm doing. Or see, this is so stupid because part of me is like, oh, I'm doing less mashup-y stuff now. But then I'm just thinking I've just been going through all these Madonna acapellas to upload to my MPC, so I can't really say that I'm not using random bits of pop culture um, anymore. But yeah, definitely around testosterone, it was very more is more.
Yeah, it's it washes over you.
Mm,
It's like, oh, one thing's happening and then another thing, and then like, it's
yeah.
just, it's wild, and I love it. I have, it's it's honestly,
Mm,
I mean, a lot of your music I would consider some of my favorite music, and I know
I
that
appreciate
seems
that.
okay. Well, I'm glad you're appreciative of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Testosterone is just an album that I will consistently, you know, I want to listen to that whole album again, you know,
Thank you.
and I just, it goes places, and it's kind of a proto meme culture, I guess, you know. It's a, I don't know if you've heard of
I
a,
get that.
I don't know if you've heard of an artist called Lemon Demon.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. I have. Yeah, I checked out some of that. Because I like, and I checked it out because I saw, yeah, a lot of people in the comments to my videos mentioning it. Um, and so I was like, oh, I'll check out this Lemon Demon Neil Cicierega dude. And I can see the similarities. Maybe because it's me as well, I can also see big differences, but
Yeah,
also I can definitely see why people uh, draw that comparison. Definitely, yeah.
It's I think there's definitely differences, but
Mm,
in presentation and just
mm,
style, uh,
mm,
but like if I had to compare your
mm,
music to something else, I
mm,
would say Lemon Demon.
mm. See, I look at Lemon Demon, and my first thoughts are, this guy is very talented and this guy is very organized.
Yeah.
Those are my my
Un,
takeaways from that. I'm like, this guy has got it working for him, and obviously uh, is yeah, like the mashup stuff that he's done. I appreciate that. I appreciate that kind of sound clash stuff. The you know again pastiche of all these different low culture
yeah.
things into something new and fresh and exciting. So yeah, more power to him.
Yeah, it's and I know we're supposed to be talking about you, not Lemon Demon, but
Hey, that's cool.
people were like, oh, ask him about Lemon Demon, and I'm
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
and, and
Not a big influence on me. Not something I listen to in my own time. But I can see why people draw the comparison, and there's
yeah,
definitely something like I can. Yeah, good on him, and more power to him. And yeah, obviously a very intelligent, very talented, and very organized person.
and don't take this the wrong way,
Mm,
but kind of the music is similar, but the organization
mm,
and release of
mm.
stuff is very, very unlike you. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's not to like say anything bad about that. I'm just like, it's
Mm,
a funny observation,
mm,
like that, like that people are comparing you to Lemon Demon when
mm,
release output
mm.
is completely on the different ends of the spectrum.
Like he hit a
And
million views, didn't he, with that touch tone telephone song? Let me check that out. Um, I'm gonna go on YouTube now and just have a look.
okay,
Um, but I'm pretty sure that was over a million views, which is yeah, 1.8 million. That's nuts, and 2.1 million on the other video. That's like a total of 3.9 million people listening to touch tone telephone. So that is like that's nuts. It blows
yeah,
my mind that there are five figures on, some talk show boy video view counts. That's nuts. And
yeah,
again, that's why, I go back to, I think if these are the songs that are getting the views, at least my songs that are getting the views, what are the messages in these songs? And then I see that like maybe the top one is I cut myself, and then I think maybe how many people are finding this because they've Googled, or not Googled, but pumped into YouTube, I cut myself, and then I wonder if the message that is getting across from me to those people is the right one, which is why I like just yeah. Although I'm sympathetic, or not sympathetic, that's the wrong word, sorry. Although I appreciate that
that people are
there are many
listening.
complexities. Yeah, there are many complexities to do with this, and it's kind of. I just want my messages to be good ones, and it's interesting seeing my work get maybe not the Lemon Demon level of exposure, but with this newfound exposure, you know,
Yeah,
comes, at least with myself, a newfound responsibility to make sure that my songs are empowering, or that if I'm dealing with negative concepts, that I do so in a way that is at the end of the song a positive experience,
yeah,
if that
I
makes sense.
understand that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand that. Um, it's I definitely understand you wanting to be like careful and mindful of what you put out there,
Just
and
want people to take care of themselves, basically, and other people. You know, like um, even though we struggle with ourselves, like I struggle with myself, um, but you know, it's a cliche, but you're your own best friend and your own worst enemy, um, and all you've got is you. You
yeah,
know, and those around you, but like
yeah,
you're responsible for your life, and um, you only get one. So
yeah,
and and
exactly.
and and time continues. So do the
Mm-hmm.
right thing. Yeah.
And and hold on, I'm racking my brain for something to ask you.
Do you want to take? Actually, can we take like 1 minute, 2 minutes? I'm just gonna use the bathroom, and I'll be right
Okay,
back. Yeah,
okay,
I'll be
sure,
right back. Yeah.
sure.
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Something people wanted to know about
Mm,
is you had a brief stint in politics.
yes.
Uh, Tell me about that. What's going on there?
Okay. So, um, I would have. What would have happened would like I would have seen Fiona Patton debating Wendy Francis, who was a conservative politician here at the time in Australia, uh, and she was Fiona Patton is, or at the time, she was the leader of an Australian political party called the Australian Sex Party, who were a civil libertarian, ostensibly civil libertarian party,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they were, or she was, I felt, saying some of the most right on things during this debate with Wendy Francis on the Australian morning TV show Sunrise. If you want to look at that video that convinced me to enter politics, it's on YouTube. Search for Fiona Patton debates Wendy Francis Sunrise. I would have watched that video and I would have thought, hang on, this is the kind of woman that I want to be seeing in Australian politics. I thought she was speaking a lot of sense at the time, and went and I had a look at the Australian Sex Party website and looked over their policies, and their policies were all about things that I supported. So access to euthanasia, legalization of drugs for personal use and treating drug use as a health issue and not a criminal issue, same-sex marriage rights. They were going over support for sex workers. They were going to address a whole range of things, separation of church and state, which is another big one. So with that comes uniform abortion law across Australia, and access to abortion and reproductive choice for women seeking terminations. And there were a whole policy suite of things that I thought were completely right on. And so I was like, look, I'm going to actually sign up and as a volunteer for this political party and try and do what I can to get this woman a seat in Parliament, because she deserves it. And so for the 2013, I think, pretty sure it was 2013 Australian federal election, I ran as a candidate for this political party. And again, I actually ran twice. I ran, I think, 2013 and 2014. And eventually, yeah, Fiona Patten did wind up getting elected. And that was my mission, to get her a seat. Afterwards, or at some stage, the Australian Sex Party changed into, or I don't know what the correct terminology is. Maybe not changed. Maybe they were rebranded as the Australian, or just rebranded as the Reason Party. Reason. There's a whole lot at play there that I'm not going to get into on this interview, but long story short, I'm no longer a member of the party. I still think that Fiona Patten is a fantastic politician, and I still think that she is doing great work. She's doing fantastic work, actually, in the Australian political landscape. Politics, or organized politics, I don't know if I'm... The whole reason I did it, or the whole reason I ran as a candidate, was because there were so many right-wing fuckheads and so many just conservative Christian parties. Like, we have Rise Up Australia Party, and the head of that is a guy called Pastor Danny Nalaya, who believes that if you look up his claims on the internet, there's a lot of shocking stuff. There was that he said is blaming the Australian bushfires on abortion law and stuff, like saying that all these natural disasters are God's retribution, and it's because of
I think I heard about that, actually.
it's shit like
It's
that made me
crazy.
want to enter
It's
politics.
crazy.
Because I thought, hey, I'm not a politician. I'm just some guy. I'm like, I make fucking electro punk music. I'm not
Yeah.
like pushing paper around and having boozy lunches with people who study the law. Like, that's not my scene. I was just like, I'm a regular guy. I'm somebody. If these chumps are going to be throwing their hat in the ring and trying to get a seat in Parliament, I'm one less fuckhead. So maybe I can put my name on the ballot, and we can maybe tip the scales the other way and have
Yeah.
maybe me instead of them.
Yeah.
Or just a voice to counteract that. I didn't expect that it would, let me just say, it would have been very, very unlikely for me to be elected. I was
Yeah,
not elected. um, Fiona Patton was elected, and so for me that was mission accomplished.
yeah,
um, and like I said, I'm no longer a member of the party. With regards to my political leanings, I'm left wing. I wouldn't like, the party was arguably a civil libertarian party. I have issues with libertarianism.
mm,
I have issues with uh, me. As much as I'm, when I say I have issues with me, I have issues with uh,
the me culture, you know.
exactly, exactly. So on the one hand, I'm very much of the mindset, do what you know, that kind of Aleister Crowley, do what thou wilt and it harm none, you know, like do what thou was a, you know, do what thou wilt, you know, everybody live your own life, do your thing, cool, I don't care. So with regards to libertarianism, I'm okay with that side of things. It's just, I also believe that maybe the government should have an iron in the
Yeah,
fire with regards to healthcare and education, and giving a hand up to people who do need it, because the life's not fair. You know, libertarianism would be fine if everybody was on an equal, um, and everybody was, you know,
yeah,
nice in theory, but yeah, I'm not. I would, I'm quite more left. I'm
yeah.
a little more left than that.
I I'm glad to hear that
Yeah,
because I'm a leftist myself.
yeah,
I yeah, fuck right wing fuckheads. I just gotta say
yeah,
that, you know.
yeah. Amen, amen.
Um, and I actually campaigned over here in the states
Mm,
for Bernie Sanders.
yeah, good work.
Yeah, yeah, and I got out there and I used to, I'm in Colorado now, but I used to live
Yeah,
in Missouri. I used to live
yeah,
in the middle of the Bible Belt.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, that was rough for me. I and sorry we keep getting off the rails here, but you
Yeah,
know,
it's cool. It's all good.
um, but yeah, I grew up in Florida, which
Mm,
Florida is kind of wild, not gonna
yeah.
lie. But I moved there from I moved from Florida to Missouri
Mm,
in the middle of like junior year, like three
okay.
years ago,
Yeah.
and that was rough for me because
Mm,
I lost all my friends and like
yeah.
you know everything, and I just man just everyone's an asshole there, like I just got they just I'm actually I've got a physical disability. I've got a
Mm,
cerebral palsy, and
right.
uh, and um, and and basically people would just like make fun of me for that and
Yeah.
literally like kick my ass because of that
Yeah.
and and like teachers and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm due to my disability, I'm like
Mm,
slower.
mm,
Not mentally, but
yeah.
like physically slower than people. So
Yeah.
if I showed up late to a class or something, they would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, why are you late?" And they would just chastise me, and I'm like, "Dude, what the hell?" Like
Yeah. That's not reasonable.
it's so I felt like hey, I've got to get out there and
Mm,
support somebody who I think you
mm,
know could change this country for the better. And
mm.
unfortunately, that didn't come to pass. But
There's a
hey,
message that's out there. There's a message that's getting out. Um, you know, like there is that ball of momentum. you know, like even like US politics and watching US politics as an outsider looking in, it is strange. It is a mess. I'm sorry about Trump. Like, I know it's not my fault, but I'm not responsible. But I'm sorry that you like. I do know what it's like to have be living in a country where the leader is somebody who you don't condone, who you don't agree with, who you think is a mistake or
Yeah.
not the right person for the job. Um, and yeah, with regards to Bernie, look, it's like his supporters aren't going to be giving up on those issues overnight.
Yeah.
You know, his supporters aren't going to be like, oh, that's that.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, this the support that like the issues remain, the passion remains, even if the man changes.
Yeah.
The issues are still there, and I mean, like, yeah,
Healthcare, women's rights, getting money out of
yeah,
politics,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, absolutely,
who wouldn't support those things?
yeah. Andrew Yang was an interesting one to watch. That
Hmm.
was interesting to see. I actually thought he was in with a considerable chance, simply because of, again, like the power of the meme. I was seeing what was happening with. Well, I mean, when like before Trump got in, I remember talking to my father and I said, I reckon Trump's going to get in, and he was like, nah, it's 15 to 1. It's an outside chance. It's not going to happen. I said, no, come on. He was on The Apprentice. This is a population that loves TV, that loves the celebrity.
Yeah.
And I said, I thought, I should put a bet on the fact that Trump's going to get in. I should, because you can do that at
Yeah.
sportsbet.com. I'm not plugging sportsbet. I'm not going to, but you can bet on this in Australia. You can say, okay, I'm going to put $50 on Trump winning. And I nearly did that with Andrew Yang because I thought the power of meme magic would push him over the edge, but it wasn't to be. And also the power of human greed. I thought what is it, $1,000 a month for everybody, no matter what, was too appealing for people to pass up. But I
Yeah.
was wrong. He didn't
Yeah.
get in. Um, and part of me now is like saying to myself, put $10 on Kanye, put $10 on Kanye, because and then in like
It's
when,
crazy. It's I feel like I can only imagine like an
yeah,
outsider perspective, but like
yeah,
as an
it's a
American,
circus.
it's crazy. Like
Yeah,
I, I'm
yeah,
just like I'm just like we live in a country where Kanye
mm.
is running for political the highest office.
He's got a loud voice. He's got the profile. He's got a loud voice. Within like half a nanosecond of him sending a tweet, it's already got 5,000 likes. Um,
Yeah.
that's why I think that he's in with a chance, is because Trump got in. So part of me thinks, hey, if Trump's a celebrity who's larger than life that got in because of his name and his bravado and his presence and having the loudest voice. Kanye's got a pretty loud voice. Kanye's got a pretty big presence. I wouldn't put it past the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see what
Exactly.
happens.
I mean, 2020 has been a hell of a
Mm,
year, so
yeah, yeah,
exhausting.
yeah.
And
It's
it's
kind of,
like, oh, sorry.
no, you go, you go.
Yeah, it's just a lot, specifically a lot for me
Mm,
has happened. There has been a lot of firsts,
mm,
and there has been, it's been a journey. It's
mm,
I uh I visited some friends in January in California.
yeah,
And then I well, in December, December of last year, I met my ex, and we
mm,
started talking, and
mm,
then we got together. Then
mm,
we broke things off. Well,
mm,
he did, but
mm,
whatever. Um, and then just everything that's happening politically. It's
yeah.
and coronavirus. Which, by the way, how are you doing with that?
I don't have it, which is good. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing the interview today if I did. It's Victoria, where I live. Our state in Australia has been hit the worst
Yeah.
by coronavirus. So we've had, every day I've been tuning into the news and watching our state premier, Daniel Andrews, pretty much 11 a.m. every day. He delivers press conference reports on the figures. And, for a while, it was 3-digit figures every day in terms of the number of new cases.
Yeah.
And then only these last couple of days, today included, it's been down to double-digit new cases in Victoria. So that's something. That's something. Um, I like walking around. It's strange. I never thought I'd be living in a world where I have to put on a face mask just to leave the house. It's
Yeah.
kind of frightening and makes you feel like a speck in the universe, which is, some people find solace in that kind of, or find that kind of comforting, that kind of um, reminder of our
Yeah.
cosmic insignificance. But, um, it is just a reminder that these are the real, these are things that we can't, or these are such a great challenge for us to overcome. Stuff like viruses, stuff like you know asteroids randomly slamming into the earth and killing off the
Yeah.
dinosaurs. These are
It's it's kind of it's kind of it's kind of scary, but at the same time, it's kind of there is some like beauty in it. Not
mm,
not not the virus, of course, but just
no,
just the fact that we are just we we're in the grand scheme of things we're
mm,
so small,
mm,
but like still I think well, and I'm trying to communicate this properly, but it's like
yeah,
in 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 the grand scheme of things we're small, but like
mm,
I think I think it's beautiful how people band together, in
yeah,
times of hardship,
yeah,
and
absolutely,
and granted, a lot of people are assholes about this whole situation, but
yeah. Everybody thinks they're right. That's the thing, and this is something that I've come to realize is that everybody, no matter who they are, thinks that they're right unless they admit that they're wrong.
yeah,
Everybody's worldview. This is why you have people like in clashing left and right sides of politics, saying, "Oh, I'm right. No, I'm right." In their head, in their reality, both of them are right,
yeah,
and that's why they'll just you know an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. What
yeah,
happens? Clashing until the end of time.
yeah,
Um, Everybody's reality is true to them, and that's why it can be very difficult to convince people that that you're right and they're wrong. You know,
yeah.
sometimes
Because
it's not worth it.
nobody wants to be wrong, you know.
Nobody wants to be wrong, and it takes a lot to admit, "Hey, I was wrong." Um, yeah,
Yeah, and it's just man, this conversation is going all over the place. Uh,
it's true.
I hope I'm not boring you.
No, no. Like I said, I've got, what is it? It's 1 now, so yeah, I've got 3.5 hours before I need to do anything.
Okay, okay. Well, would you like to talk more about your career?
Oh wow. Where do we start? Where do we
Ju-
start?
Just like, just start talking. Just ramble about anything, you know?
Ramble about anything. Okay. Hmm. Where do we start? Recently, um, see, this is where it gets difficult because I don't know what people want to know. You know, like I could talk about like the fact that recently I've been buying heaps of synths and sequences and things like that, and having a lot of fun with MIDI. Like maybe I can move this laptop and just show you. Hang on,
Okay.
let me. I'll just show people what I've been doing. So this is what. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see this? Okay, so this is what I've been doing recently. So I've got an MPC 1000, which I've hooked up to uh, the MIDI out going through to, hey, can't even see where we are. Quadra through, got my MIDI solutions Quadra through. That's sending MIDI information to like 303, MC303, sending the MIDI clock information to that. I've got some critter and guitar things here. I got a second MC303. MC303 cops a lot of shit for being an entry level groovebox entry level type sequencer that came out in
Uh-huh.
1996. Um, but this was one of the pieces of gear that, again, as a teenager, I was like, I need this bad. And I saved up. I remember going on school camp, uh, bushwalking and like hiking around all these mountains with my school. And the whole time, every step of the way, I was just like, thinking about this MC303 and getting back to Melbourne so I could go to the shop and buy one. And I think this is a fantastic piece of equipment for getting song ideas out. A lot of again, it's interesting because a lot of the or pretty much 99.9% of the Talkshow Boy stuff that you hear is not made on hardware. It's all made on software.
Okay.
Most of the software that I've used for Talkshow Boy stuff is Mod Plug Tracker, as I mentioned, for at least the first album. And then by the time Watch As I Perform My Own Tracheotomy, um, by the time I was working on that, I was using Logic more, the software
Okay.
Logic. And then by the time I got up to Testosterone, that was Sony Acid, and mainly Sony Acid. And ever since then, Best Beats Ever, that was mainly Sony Acid. Most of the Keith Party stuff I've done was through Sony Acid. So that's uh, the software that I mainly use, Sony Acid. But recently I've been
Okay.
like, ooh, let's get more hardware. I got one of these Korg Volca keys when they first came out in, I think it was 2013. I was super skeptical about them. I was like, who needs these little boxes? And I was like, actually, these little comparatively or cheaper synths and sequences are just what I want. It's actually really functional and really useful and really good for creating live loop-based dance music. Um, Korg Monotron in there. That just came less than a week ago in the mail. It was a little gift to myself. Um,
Awesome.
Electribe, Korg Electribe EA1. Again, this gets maligned on YouTube videos for being bad gear. A lot of these things, it's 303, MC303 as well, gets maligned for being bad gear. It's bullshit. It's great gear. The only bad thing about it is it's only got 50 user patterns and you can fill them up really fast. I want to show
Okay.
something else cool here. I managed, if I turn this on, I hope you can see. Can you see that screen?
I can see it's on. It's kind of what? Oh, magic.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to show you. I just wanted to show you my splash screen. Um,
Awesome.
I don't know if it's clear. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Awesome.
that was my Hey, sorry, I'm just getting all my cables tangled. What have I done here? I've got my Game Boy stuck. Hey, sorry. We're getting there.
It's cool.
All right. I'm sure there are like.
Yeah, people. When I was talking to other people about this interview, there wasn't
Mm,
really anything in particular that they wanted to know. Um, like they they were interested in like your background and
mm,
stuff. Um, but also,
mm.
funnily enough, they're like, what's with Hello Kitty? You know, everybody
What's
everybody
with Hello
wanted to
Kitty?
know. Yeah,
Um,
they're like,
so around
that's literally a
what's with Hello Kitty? Um, so maybe around 2012 or so, I was living by myself, and I'd also just come out of a long-term relationship, and part of the Hello Kitty thing, well, obviously, number one, what's not to like? It's a cat. Like, it's a cute
yeah.
cat. If you like cute cats, what's not to like? It's a
I mean,
cute
my
cat.
my,
Um,
my icon is a cute cat,
yeah,
so
yeah. Like it's on the one hand, it's a symbol like a Nike swoosh or something. So it's an example of really successful branding. Um, it's I think yeah, around 2012, I'd come out of a long-term relationship. I was living by myself, and I made the conscious decision to surround myself with as much Hello Kitty merchandise as possible. So basically, I was like, hey, I can get a TV for my house. I should get the Hello Kitty TV. I need a microwave for my house. Let's get the Hello Kitty microwave. Oh, I need a waste bin, a waste paper bin. Let's get the Hello Kitty one. And then it turned into, actually, I need a blanket. Let's get a Hello Kitty blanket. And then it turned into, let's get every Hello Kitty thing I can. If there's an option for the Hello Kitty variety, we'll get the Hello Kitty variety. So I got my Hello Kitty mouse pad. I'm just actually going to move this computer very carefully for a second. So I can show you, oh, like if you, oh, look over here, sorry, get around here. This is like a shelf like full of Hello Kitty related
wow,
stuff.
that is a
It's a mess. There's a Hello Kitty microwave in there
wow.
buried away. Um, yeah, you can see there's a lot of crap in my messy ass room. Um, but you know, there's a lot of stuff around, a lot of Hello Kitty stuff. There's a book as well. If I can get it off. I'll come back here. Woo. All right. So this book, Pink Globalization,
Yeah.
by Catherine Yeno, Christine
Mm-hmm.
Yeno, not Catherine, Christine Yeno. Um, this is a this is probably the best academic text on Hello Kitty and what Hello Kitty means to people. Hello Kitty as a symbol. Like on the back here it says, Yeno reveals the edgy power in this wink. So Hello Kitty and her entourage of marketers and consumers wink, giddily suggesting innocence, sexuality, irony, sophistication, and even sheer happiness. Yano reveals the edgy power in this wink and the ways it can overturn or at least challenge power structures. So part of me was
I
like, it's a cute cat. Why? As if I don't want to be on team cute cat.
yeah.
And then also part of me, after a couple of years, was like, how much plastic crap do I really need to buy? You know, like, sorry, I was spitting everywhere. I was just like, I've spent so much money on plastic, bad for the environment, cheaply made crap. Um, so on the one hand, yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with Hello Kitty. I haven't bought much Hello Kitty stuff recently because I don't need to buy more stuff. But then again, if I was going down to, you know, the shop to buy a T-shirt, and there was a choice between, you know, plain black T-shirt or plain black with a little Hello Kitty thing, maybe I get the one with the Hello Kitty thing, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
mean, you even have a Hello Kitty guitar.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
I've got it right here. I'll get that and I'll show you. Hang on.
Dope. Honestly. I I I I really love how like Hello Kitty is your thing kind of.
I,
Like
it's
like
mine, but everyone's. Is this one?
yeah.
This is pretty cool. This one. It's like a Hello
Nice.
Kitty keyboard. So that
Nice.
one's pretty cool. Um, this one as well is pretty cool. It's like a fold up Hello Kitty
Wow.
keyboard. Yeah, so I'm into that one. This one as well. It sounds disgusting. Like,
Wow.
so that's that one. Uh, got this one, which is like a Hello Kitty microphone. It's actually getting kind of destroyed. I don't know if you can see my text
Yeah.
coming off. The
Yeah, it's
impermanence of everything. So that's that one. What else do I have that's kind of cool? Hello Kitty telephone, Hello Kitty coffee machine, Hello Kitty pancake machine. There's a lot of plastic crap. Lisa Loeb, the pop star Lisa Loeb, also has a massive Hello Kitty collection. I reckon her collection is probably bigger than mine. Um, a much more successful musician, but yeah, she as well. Like, yeah, Lisa Loeb has got heaps and heaps of Hello Kitty stuff as well.
wow. Just I love the fact that we can talk about this. It's just
Mm.
absolutely like you're just giving me a tour of your Hello Kitty memorabilia, your
Yeah,
sh- your shrine dedicated to Hello Kitty.
there's a lot of stuff around. Yeah, I'm just like I had a friend. Oh, I still have a friend. He's still my friend. He came over to my house the other year, and he was like, "This is when I was living by myself in my flat," and he was disgusted. He was like, "I can't look anywhere without seeing this stupid cat." He was like looking around. It would have been like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something. We had a big night, and he's just like, he was furious at me. He was like, everywhere I turn, I see this fucking cat's face. And I was like, mission accomplished.
Speaking of cats and cult cinema, uh,
Mm,
uh, have you seen this movie, this Japanese movie
mm,
from 1977
mm,
called Hausu or just House? It's a it's a
mm,
it's a Japanese horror film from the eyes of a child, and it's got a really good soundtrack, um,
mm.
and it's got
Japanese. It's called
yeah
House.
yeah
Because
it's
I've
a
seen House, the American, like House 1 to 4 with William Catt, who plays Tommy and Carrie.
Yeah.
I've seen those ones.
Here, let
About
me let me link it to you.
Yeah,
I
please.
I, I think you'd I
I'll
think
put it
you
on my list. I've got
okay.
a long list of movies to watch.
What's on your watch list?
Oh, so much stuff. Let me have a look. It's. I don't know if a lot of this stuff is good as well. But it's just whenever anyone recommends something, um, I add it. So let's see what I need to watch according to this list. Touch of Evil. A lot of things that people say you should see this movie. So like History of Violence, the
Yeah.
Cronenberg movie. I never saw that. Probably should see that one. Then there's stuff like Irreversible, which everyone says is a horrible movie. Everyone's like, it's the most extreme, hardcore,
Yeah,
disgusting.
it's hardcore, but I like it. So
This is why I've got to see it. Everyone's like, you got to see it, man. You got to see Irreversible, man. And I'm like, oh, isn't that just the intense rape movie? I don't know if I want to watch the intense rape movie. But then everyone goes on about how good it is. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should see Irreversible. So it's
it's
on the
like
list.
it's like that's not a particular subject that I would want to see, but it's a good
Yeah.
movie.
Everyone goes on about it. So yeah, I've added it. Um,
I, Roger
Whiplash.
e, Roger Ebert loved it.
Yeah. Oh,
Surprisingly.
there you go. Roger Ebert, actually. Roger, it's funny you should say that because over here, I'm going to show you something. Let me get it. So this is a tour MP3 CDR I did for a
Okay.
Brisbane tour one time, and then on the back I've got Roger Ebert giving the Talkshow Boy release 0 stars.
Yeah.
So
Oh
uh,
man. Yeah, yeah, if you could
yeah,
find time to you know uh scan that stuff in high
yeah,
quality,
definitely.
that would be great because I could use that for the video.
Yeah, definitely on my list of things to make and do. I will get these scanned and I will get these to you.
Thank
All
you.
these things. Yeah, absolutely. What else is on my list? Uh, Baby Driver. Still haven't seen Baby Driver. Um, so much stuff. Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Oh boy.
Ivory
Oh
Tower, the Gonzalez movie about
yeah.
chess. Birdman, everyone's going on about Birdman. I still haven't seen Birdman with Michael Keaton. Uh,
I like it. I like
yeah.
it, but I think it's overhyped, honestly.
Everyone says that as well. Everyone's like, Birdman, like half the people I speak to are like, Birdman's crap. You're not going to like Birdman. And that just makes me want to see it more. And
But
then the other half of
it's
the.
not even crap. It's just it's overrated. It's a good
Okay.
movie.
I really like Michael Keaton Batman though. So I'm kind of thinking if it's Michael Keaton in a movie that's, be something man. Like, how
Yeah.
bad can it be?
No, it's a good movie. And I
I
think
should
you
see it.
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here on this list. Like it just goes on and on and on because I've just been writing down this Parasite, Geostorm, Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. That's on the list.
I have no idea what that is.
It's some teen movie, I think. My Cousin Vinny, never seen it. Color
You've never
Purple, never seen it.
you've
Uh,
never
you know,
seen My Cousin Vinny?
I know, and I've seen the George Costanza, Marissa Tomei episode of Seinfeld a billion times. So that's what
Yeah.
made me add that to the list. Uh, Death Wish 1 to 5, First Wise Club. Like a lot of these movies probably aren't very good. Um,
Hey, I love bad movies.
yeah,
There's something special in a bad movie.
yeah. apparently Donald Trump's The Art of the Deal is a movie as well. So
Oh yeah, with Johnny Depp and like
is Johnny Depp in it?
yes.
Oh God, he's seen
Let me
better
see.
days.
Let me see. There's like a bunch of people in this movie. I'm looking it up on IMDb. Um, let's see who's in this. Johnny Depp, Michaela Watkins, Ron Howard is in it. Patton Oswalt. Uh,
Fuck, it's 2016. I didn't realize it was so recent. Oh, it's satirical.
yeah.
Ah, that's why I would have added it to my list. Sorry, I was
Henry
just like,
Henry Winkler is in it. Christopher Lloyd as Doc Brown is in
wow.
it.
Okay,
Uh,
I this is what happens. I add things to my list and I forget about them, and I'm gonna look them up later. And I'm like, oh. And now I've got House, the Japanese movie on there.
yeah, it's
Very good.
I think no, it's very like collage art. Like there's
Mm,
every trick in the book is
mm,
used in the movie. There's like stop motion. There's uh, matte paintings. There's
yeah,
green screen.
yeah, cool.
There's just animation. There's like cutouts. There's everything. It's
Yeah, sweet.
wild.
Yeah, cool. I'll add it to, oh, it's already on my list, so I'll definitely check that out.
Here, I'll send you some. I'll send you some screenshots from this. It's
Yeah, please.
fucking crazy. Um, there's a there's a killer piano in the movie. So
I'm in. I'm in. Do you ever see the TV series Look Around You? British
no,
comedy TV series?
no, I don't think I've seen that.
Highly, highly recommended. Very entertaining British comedy series. Season one is better than season two. And there's an episode in season one focusing on music. Um, and they talk about the piano, and they talk about this locked box at the end of the piano keyboard called the boîte diabolique, which houses the forbidden notes
Okay.
that should never be played. And you know, they unlock this box, and you'll see in there there's like a whole bunch of black piano keys and white piano keys. I think there's like one or two red piano keys as well, just like ooh, danger. And like, I'm gonna ruin the scene, but so and so starts playing. You know, the person in the scene starts playing these notes from the forbidden locked box at the end of the piano, and then slowly starts blood just starts streaming out of their ears, just like
Okay.
um,
I'll,
it, better
I'll,
if you see it than me describe it poorly, but
well,
yeah,
no,
very,
I'll check this out.
mm,
Hold on. How do I? Oh, there we go.
yeah. If you watch one episode of Look Around You, check out the Look Around You episode about music. Absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll check that out. Let's see, where did I save this? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's a. Hold on. Yeah, that's a shot from the movie.
Let's have a look.
It's very weird, and I think you would dig it. Here's like a collection of.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would dig that based on that. Like based on this one screenshot you've sent me. Wow. That's striking.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, you should like. Yeah, watch those other movies, but watch House too.
I will, absolutely. This is oh wow. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Yeah, I reckon my housemate will be into this. This is like this looks amazing.
I literally reckon the tables have turned.
Mm,
I recommend everybody watch House, and
mm,
I recommend to as many people as
mm.
possible, hey, listen to Talkshow Boy.
Thank you.
And now I'm recommending this movie to you. It's
I,
wild.
I am absolutely going to watch it. Yeah, I'll find it and I'll watch it.
There, by the way, the
Mm,
characters in the movie are named
mm.
after their personality traits.
Okay.
There's literally a character in this movie. My favorite
Mm.
character
Yeah.
in the movie is called
Mm.
Kung Fu,
Oh
and
wow.
she's got a theme song of her own, and it's she yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
It's
very cool.
yeah.
Do you ever see Wild Zero, the Japanese zombie movie with Guitar Wolf in it?
No, I have not, but I've wanted to. I'm aware of this movie.
It's not bad. I mean, as far as zombies go, it's great. As far as Japanese rock and roll movies go, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's worth a watch. Not the greatest thing in the world, but not like definitely as good as it should be.
I, I
Definitely
think
worth watching.
I think there's this movie.
Hmm.
Uh, I could be forgetting the title, but it's like a Japanese film called Rockabilly Vampire or something.
Don't think I know that one.
It's hold
Let me
on,
have a look.
hold on. I'm gonna look this up real quick to see if it's the
1996.
um.
I do know this one. If this is the one I'm thinking of, one
I
1996
hold on.
Rockabilly.
I am thinking of. Hold on. What is it called? Oh no, it's called Ghost Road. I mixed up the two in my head. Ghost Roads, a Japanese rock and roll ghost story.
Ghost Roads. Let's have a look. Yeah, cool.
I like how we're just
See, this is already
recommend.
two more movies for the list. This is two more. You know. Okay, so
Yeah,
Rockabilly Vampire and Ghost Roads. Actually, wasn't Rockabilly Vampire Trauma?
yeah. I love Trauma.
I might actually have a copy of. I might actually have that. I think that's why it's familiar because I might actually have a copy. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Like a year ago or whatever. I I visited my friends in Florida, and I put on the Toxic Avenger for them,
Yeah,
and and we had some alcohol. Not
yeah,
gonna lie, but
yeah,
they had never seen it before,
yeah.
and I'm just laughing through the whole movie maniacally, and and uh, and they're like, "What the fuck? Like, what is
Mm.
this? Like you're mad? You're
Uh, I can't be too mad at Toxic Avenger.
yeah." And it's
Yeah.
just like it's those trauma movies are wild. They
Mm,
literally put out a movie called Surf Nazis Must Die. It's
yeah.
it's it's what a film.
Yeah. I think again, like I guess I appreciate I appreciate what they do as well because it is very low tech, um, and it is something that uh, is proudly independent and fiercely independent, and they've built a name for themselves. Uh, an empire of bad taste, if you will, and
Yeah,
it's real. It's real independent art.
yeah,
So I've got a lot of respect for Lloyd Kaufman and Troma. Um, I think that yeah, they've done some great work. And again, it's not to everyone's tastes,
yeah.
and um,
Not everyone's gonna like it.
no,
It's you know,
no,
nor should they.
no.
Um, but still, like some of the most entertaining movie nights I've had is, oh
Mm.
hey, let's put on a trauma movie. you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I'm just in love with like independent art and just
Mm,
people coming together and
mm,
working on stuff. And
mm,
you know, I just literally I've got a bunch of people
mm,
whom I'm friends with
mm,
who are all older than me,
mm.
but they're like I'm friends with directors of photography, like cinematographers,
Yeah.
and like artists, and you know,
Mm,
musicians and stuff. And I'm just like, hey, um, you know,
mm,
why don't you work on my stuff? You
mm.
know, and it's like so, sort of like sort of like what Ed Wood did.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, Ed Wood just worked with his friends, you know,
yeah.
and that's honestly what I want to do like the entirety of my career.
Mm,
I want to work with people who are my friends and
mm,
people who I admire. I mean, that's why I'm like, hey,
mm.
do you want to do a music video? Because I'm
Hell
like,
yeah. Hell yeah. Like if that's your specialty, like if that's what you do, absolutely. Like I would love that. Everybody's got a different skill set. You know, everybody does something like everybody's got their own thing that they do, and it can, you know, if you want help, the worst like you can ask, and the worst it's going to get is someone's going to say no. You know,
yeah,
that's the worst it's going to get.
yeah, exactly. Which
So
is which is why I'm just it's amazing the fact
mm,
that we're having this conversation right now, and the fact
mm,
that you're so open to interaction. Uh,
yeah, sure,
you know,
yeah,
and I think that's you know really great. You know,
yeah, sure.
because because and sorry if I'm like fanboying or whatever.
You're fine. You're fine.
You know, yeah, it's just you know I really do think that you yeah making music in your bedroom, yeah,
Mm,
that's what it is, but on a larger scale, you know,
mm.
it's really touched a lot of people, and I think that's you know admirable, you know.
That like I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, I really appreciate that. A lot of um, a lot of the music that I like is music that is a kind of call to arms or a rallying cry or something that makes you feel, yeah, like stuff that's empowering, stuff that where you listen to it and afterwards you're like, yeah, I feel like I feel like I'm ready to face the world or to tackle my problems after that. Um, and I'm not saying that, you
Yeah,
know, music's a cure for everything. It's not.
yeah,
But if I'm making if I've made music that other people are feeling better about themselves and their world after listening to it, that's great. You know, I always wanted to write songs that were full of energy and that invigorated people. Um, so because yeah, like a lot of what I listened to that made me feel really glad to be alive was stuff like, you know, My Metrocard by La Tigra, the first Bikini Kill EP especially, and yeah, like I mentioned, stuff like Bias, stuff like the Jesus and Mary Chains Automatic, that album especially just made me want to attack life. Um,
yeah,
and also just creating something very, or wanting to create something very sharp, very to the point. Um, hopefully, if the songs that I look back of mine where I'm like that's a really successful one is anything that's really, yeah, sharp to the point, no fucking around, no nonsense. Stuff like More Me in the Fallback I'm very happy with. I think like I like that
yeah,
song a lot. Um, songs like, yeah. See, I'm gonna even look over stuff. Like I can look at the back of one of my CDs. I'll be like, that one's good, that one's shit, that one's good, that one's shit. Um,
Yeah.
Youthful Spirit, I like. Let's see what's on this one. Certain songs, yeah, like I said, certain songs I've got minimal time for, but I'll still listen back to them. I'll be like, oh, it's fine. It's just not my
I
favorite.
I I just gotta say, I love Youthful Spirit. It's a
Thank
great
you,
song.
thank you, thank you. That was,
I mean that
yeah, that one was just about, like, basically in a nutshell, that was, that's about the fact that you are who you always were. Like you even, I might be 35, but I can still tap into the way that I felt when I was 15, 16. And in fact, that's what's been inspiring me a lot more with regards to creating was, it's easy to get jaded as an adult and then be like, oh, too many bills, too much negativity and hatred and idiots in the world and capitalism, and I'm never going to be able to afford all the things I want, and I'm never, people are always going to be
mm,
suffering, and then just thinking, ugh, why bother? Ugh, life's gross. And then remembering, hang on, no, when I was 15, I was super enthusiastic about creating, and I remember reading zines, like, and I remember feeling empowered by being able to feel like the master of my own destiny. And I guess that's what's kind of reinvigorated me in a way to make music, is tapping into how I felt when I was younger, and uh, that desire to create something just so done how I wanted it to be done. Um, this is really difficult to articulate. I'm sorry.
it's okay. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
authentic,
yeah. I like, one of the and again, I go back to the Scottish pop group Biss, but one of the reasons that I liked them so much was because they were very they were very real, but they were also very larger than life. As in, they gave themselves special names, so they're like, their names were like Mandarin, John Disco, and Sci-Fi Steven. Like, without even trying, they've basically made themselves into superheroes. Uh,
Yeah.
and to me, that was a kind of an extension of DIY art. Is you can do things on your own on your own terms. You don't have to get the green light from a record exec or from your manager or from uh, anywhere. You can say, okay, this is what I do. This is my style. This is my world. This is my creation, and I can say what I want, and I can be who I want. And if I want to be a superstar, fuck it, I said I am, so therefore I already am. you
Yeah.
know, you know, if you don't believe it, you don't have to buy it. You don't have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's I really like that mindset,
yeah,
that reclaiming something that was like reclaiming that youthful side
mm,
of yourself, and realizing, hey, no, um I can do this,
yeah,
despite what everything despite everything
mm,
going on, you know capitalism, you know everything. It's we all gotta hold on to that little
mm.
kernel of our former
The
selves.
world's a confusing place, and like, you can't. People say, people will argue about whether you can change the world. Like, maybe I can't change the world. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to solve the problems associated with capitalism. I don't think I'm going to be able to, kick despots out of power or anything like that. But there are things that you can
Mhm.
control, and your creative work is one of them. uh, you can create your own reality in your own creative work and say, okay, okay, take a band like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, incredibly successful band, and
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of admiration for this band because they've really carved out a niche. They've really created their own lore surrounding their band, their own musical universe, their own musical language, and it's a very authentic. Uh, it's a yeah, it's theirs. It's their own thing. Um, they've created a musical world, and that's impressive. And yeah, Biss created a musical world. Um, you know, full of candy and full of ninjas and full of vampires and very cartoony, but also, dealing with real issues to do with, uh, you know, scenes and abusive partners and feminism and backstabbing and just a whole bunch of real concepts imbuing their music and um, you know it, it's powerful stuff, and it definitely had an impact on me.
Yeah, and I would say all that stuff you're saying, I
Mm,
would say that about you.
mm,
Because really, you've done all that,
mm,
maybe you're not as well known,
mm.
but you have connected with people. And
Yeah,
I'm sure that is, flattering. I'm sure,
it's a
you
trip.
know,
It's a trip for.
yeah, it's like, it's weird, it's odd, but
Mm,
overall, it's something wonderful, you know.
mm. Yeah, I'm glad people appreciate it.
And
I'm excited about the next thing. Like that's the thing that, for everybody that appreciates what I've already done, and I'm glad that people do. I'm just like, oh, just wait,
yeah,
wait till you hear the next thing.
yeah,
I'm like, I've got to get it out, and part of me is like, I've like the 69 Punk Songs album, which I've been working on for a billion years. Um, this is recorded. This is like, when I say it's recorded, I might redo a vocal here. I might put some backing vocals in there. I might do a little bit of a tidy up here, and or a little bit of a new guitar line here, and EQ it a bit differently. And like, that's the stage it's at right now. So there's a little bit of EQing and a little bit of uh, extra trimmings, so to speak, that I need to do to it. But like, the bulk of the album is very, very, very much recorded and has been for some time. And part of me is like, I could just put it on the internet, but then part of me is like, don't put it on the internet because it's not ready yet, and you don't want to
yeah,
release something that's subpar. Why would I could put it on the internet now, or I could see if someone wants to do a nicer release of it, like an actual physical
yeah,
copy, and pay for something that I can't afford, and then it gets a wider release. And then you get into these the whole like industry games about like, uh, do I want to engage with media outlets? Do I want to engage with the Australian global music industry and send emails? And then I cease becoming a creative and start becoming a publicist, and it's a whole other thing.
I mean, if you really wanted to do a physical release, you could do like a Kickstarter, you know.
I
That
thought
is it.
about that. I thought about that, but then I thought like, oh, like, I get frustrated. Like, I every YouTube video, everyone's like, don't forget to like and subscribe, and here's my
Yeah,
Patreon. I don't want to be one of those people. Like, a part of me is
yeah,
like, oh, I should do that, and that's the game. But then there are so many places that people could be dropping their money. I don't know if
yeah,
my Kickstarter is the place that people should be dropping their money when there are
yeah.
so many
Like charities and stuff, and
charities.
they
Yeah,
could be supporting, like,
yeah.
marginalized artists, and. Yeah,
it's very audacious for me in a first world country to, you know, as a white male guy as well, just to be like, uh, give me money so that I can follow my dreams. You know,
yeah,
I've had a brilliant life. Like I've had I had a beautiful childhood. I've got loving parents. I've met, you know, crazy famous people. Like it I don't need other, like it, again, it's sweet, but you know, I don't know
yeah,
if Kickstarter or Patreon or anything like that is the
yeah,
best way for me to go about everything, but I've
yeah,
thought about it, but yeah, I don't think it's the way.
yeah. I no, I totally get that mentality. You know,
Mm.
um,
If a
but
label approached me though, if a label said, hey,
yeah,
we got a deal you can't refuse, you know, again, I'd have to look at it and be like, let's see
yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah, exactly. And uh, hold on. But oh, wow. You were talking about your life experiences and like
Mm.
you've met people and your life journey that you've been on. You've
Yeah.
led a fulfilling life. Uh, tell me tell me more about that. You know, just what like just
Um, oh,
whatever
okay.
whatever you feel comfortable with. You know.
Um, So, like, okay, where do I start? I was born, yeah, born January 24th, 1985, in the suburb of Carlton, in Victoria. I grew up in a very beautiful neighborhood, um, rather affluent neighborhood. Had no say in it, you know, nobody chooses where they're born. My parents weren't, my parents were well off, but they weren't mega loaded. You know, I went to a school where a lot of the uh, families were mega loaded. And um, yeah, it was a private boys' school, Anglican, um, and with that comes a lot of good and a lot of bad. So I had like you know, I got to meet, you know, I got to meet some incredibly famous people. So like, 8th of September 2000, because of my, you know, where I was going to school and stuff, I met Nelson Mandela. That was
Yeah.
incredible. You know,
Wow.
I had here I am name dropping the most famous person I've ever met, but like, it's interesting because it kind of reaffirmed to me that the world is a small world. So like, we had a kid in my class who was, suggested to the teacher, you know, what if we got Nelson Mandela to come to Australia to talk about reconciliation, um, with Australia's First Nations people. And the teacher said, or the teacher had to think about this, was like, oh, maybe that's doable. And so the kid wrote a letter to Nelson Mandela saying, you know, really heartfelt letter explaining the situation, saying, hey, would you like to come to Australia? Wheels started turning and cogs started spinning behind the scenes, and the teacher talked to his friend who had some kind of a company called, I think it was called the ISIS Foundation, not like ISIS. They definitely wouldn't call themselves ISIS
Yeah.
these days, but back then they were called ISIS Foundation, and arranged this whole thing called World Reconciliation Day, where um, Nelson Mandela came to Australia, and so did Reuben Hurricane Carter, and
Mhm.
they had a check for $1 million, which was presented to Nelson Mandela by this guy Adam Radley from the ISIS Foundation. And because I was one of a select group of students from this school who uh, got to meet Nelson Mandela and go to all the media events in the year 2000, we had a fancy lunch at with a whole bunch of very important people. Most expensive lunch I'll probably ever eat in my life. And yeah, went on stage, hugged Nelson Mandela, and he presented me with a medal that says, uh, Lifetime Ambassador for World Reconciliation Day, presented to Adrian Trajstman, 8th of September 2000 by Nelson Mandela. And I'm gonna get that and show you right now. Hang on.
Awesome.
So there's the front. Life Ambassador for World Reconciliation Day. And on
Wow.
the back says, presented to Adrian Trajstman by Nelson Mandela on 8th of
That,
September 2000.
that's crazy.
It is crazy. Like when I say it is crazy, like it goes to show. It taught me a number of things. So it taught me, firstly, that things that seem out of your reach might not be out of your reach. So, for example, for Nelson Mandela to come to Australia, sure, $1 million was involved that he received as a donation for his charity, but also this is someone who I never thought I was ever going to meet. Somebody whose story is so powerful, and it's just strange, strange to see the world as such a small place. Um,
Yeah.
you know, also made me realize as well how fortunate I am, and how privileged I am. And then yeah, life's short, and I've had a really, really good life. So I try not to take that for granted. The fact that I did have quite a comparatively good upbringing, loving parents, didn't really want for much. Um, yeah, it's uh, yeah, that's so that was my schooling experience. Like I said, Anglican school, private boys' school, growing up around, not socializing with, pretty much socializing with only boys, and boys' problems and all the macho bullshit that goes along with that. Um, School wasn't too fun.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can only imagine.
I sang in the choir, like the chapel choir there. That was very fun. That was enjoyable, at least, because I liked singing. I was very I was Christian for a while. I signed my soul over to Jesus Christ in the back of a Gideon's Bible. Um, I used to say the Lord's Prayer every night before I went to sleep. And then when I was about 15 or 16, I started to get into paganism and started to get into Wicca and witchcraft. And then my nightly prayers kind of morphed into the Lord's Prayer followed by the Wiccan Read. Um, so it was, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation. Save us from the time of trial. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. And then it went, lady, feed us at your breast. Lord, protect us in our rest. Brightest blessings is the call. Family, coven, clan, and all. Uh, I used to recite that to myself in my head every night as I laid myself down to sleep, thinking about my family, and building this love in my heart, and envisioning my family and my coven, so my family and my family's friends, and then my clan, so my family and my family's friends and all of their friends and everybody we knew, and then imagining that love spreading to everybody throughout the world. Um,
Wow,
and at
that
some point,
That is
Sorry,
that is beautiful.
that's the way. That was my relationship with spirituality for a while, and then eventually decided that maybe Christianity or organized religion um, was not for me, or not. Like I have issues with there's one way to God. I don't really think that there's one way to God or one road to heaven. A lot of Christian teachings, all Christian teachings, really suggest that uh, you gotta there's one way in.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's necessarily my truth. Uh, my grandparents on my father's side were Jewish or agnostic Jewish, so they're Holocaust survivors. They're not around anymore. But my dad's parents both clawed their way through World War II, through some pretty fucking hairy situations as well, and
Wow.
uh, you know that when we like when I say they're Jewish, like oh they were Jewish, like my grandfather or my dad's father, Jewish but an agnostic, so he was a scientifically minded guy. He didn't believe in ghosts or spirits or anything, like Jewish by culture.
Yeah.
He just doesn't believe in God, or didn't believe in God. My grandmother was more spiritual. um, but yeah, I went by the time the Holocaust was over and they were they'd moved to Melbourne, and the that would have been 19 or shortly the late 40s, because my dad was born in 46. um, and by the time they got to Australia, they were just happy to be alive and surrounded by good food. So there was a lot of ham on the table. It wasn't orthodox Judaism by any stretch of the imagination. It was very much, we're alive, we're here, we've got our family, we love each other, let's feast. That kind of an approach. And ham's delicious. And yeah, so that was
Wow.
my, that's how
That
they operated.
that is quite the story. Like,
Yeah. I don't eat ham these days. I don't eat, I'm a pescatarian these days, so I don't eat red meat or white meat. I still eat seafood, but yeah,
yeah.
it's not the
I'm
greatest.
I'm thinking about going vegan,
If you
honestly.
can, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, everyone can, unless you've got health concerns that you need to,
Yeah.
supplement your diet with stuff. But vegan, I love vegan food. I cook quite a bit of vegan food at home. I think it makes a lot of sense. I have a lot of admiration for people who go vegan and or at least try to eat more vegan, or more people who try to eat less animal products, basically.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it
And
can be done, and it can be delicious. Sarah Kramer's got great. Sarah Kramer, who put out the books, The Garden of Vegan and Where It All Vegan, I think it's called. Yeah, she's got some great vegan recipes.
yeah, what are some other books that you'd recommend? What are some good reads?
Okay. Be Here Now. The Ram Dass book, Baba Ram Dass.
Okay.
Um, that is one of the best pieces of advice that anyone's ever going to give anyone, to be here now. So if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a guidebook. Excuse me, a guidebook towards expanding consciousness. Um, it- so Ram Dass is a guy who dropped acid years ago and then realized that, hang on, there's a lot of profound realizations coming out of this. And he was like, oh, how can I translate my psychedelic experience to, or how can I make sense of my psychedelic experience after the fact, from a more cosmic kind of perspective, a more like, how do I've been presented with all of these glimpses of truth. How do I arrange all these glimpses to make sense of my place in the universe? And basically it's all summed up in the title, Be Here Now. You know, now is the only time that there really is. Here is the only place that there is. And what can you do aside from be? You know, just sit and be here and be here now. And if you can tap into that awareness of what's going around you, then you know, that's meditation. That's like, I'm not doing this book justice with my fucking bad summary of it, but yeah, that is a great book. Let me see if I can actually find it. I'll be right back. Yeah, be 2 seconds. No, I don't know where I put it. I don't know where I put it, but basically it's a beautiful book. Very interesting. And I've rambled about it in a terrible way. Um, I'm not a big reader of novels. I used to be when I was younger. These days, not so much. These days I read comics. These days I read nonfiction. I read the internet a lot, just random crap on Wikipedia. There was a good while when the majority of books that I read were tarot books. 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack is one of the best books on tarot you're likely to come across. Also, I give a shout out to Tarot and the Tree of Life by Isabel Radau-Klagman. That's a fantastic book if you've got an interest in tarot and want to explore the minor arcana in a little bit more depth. That's probably the best book I've come across on the minor arcana. Also, there's a book called The Fool's Pilgrimage by the Reverend Stephen A. Holler. And that's a very interesting book on the tarot that kind of traces the journey of the fool from one traces the journey of the fool through the tree of life, basically, and examines the major arcana of the tarot and the pathways on the tree of life, and what each pathway represents and which card it links back to, and the lessons that can be learned from thinking about the relationships between the sephira on the. So that's quite interesting to me. Trying to think what other books have really kind of made a big impact or a strong impact. Energy Flash, that's a great book. If you've never read Energy Flash and you want to,
no, I've never.
It's fantastic rundown of rave culture. It's like Simon Reynolds, so it's like one of those rip it up and start it again type books. What else? I'm just looking at my bookshop. I'm being like, oh, what's good? Yeah, I'm not a big reader. Gene Simmons. I'm just looking at seeing what I can see. Gene Simmons, Kiss and Make Up. I like listening to members of Kiss talk about their time in Kiss because they all hate each other. So Yeah, you don't need to buy the book. You can hear it on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you look at you type Paul Stanley is, or Ace Frehley is, or Gene Simmons is, and hit enter, there are some great excerpts from Paul Stanley's autobiography and Gene Simmons' autobiography, where they're just ragging on the other members of Kiss. That's amusing to me.
That is amusing.
The Flowers of Evil. Shout outs to the Flowers of Evil. Just going to get that and show you. Hang on. Okay. So this is the best, or one of the best manga I've ever read.
Okay.
The Flowers of Evil. If just show these to people so that if they want to see these are great. I'm just going to go through them all really fast. So this is the story of a boy who has he's a high school student. He's a bit of a loner. He's a bit of an introvert. He has a crush on a girl in his class, and decides to one day. He's got a crush on a girl in his class. She's a good student. She's very. He thinks she's very perfect, you know, and one day after gym class, he notices that she's left her bag of gym clothes on the floor in the gymnasium, and he has a split. There's a split second where he makes a decision, and he's just like, "Fuck it," and he takes her clothes and he takes her gym bag home with him because he's got such a crush on this girl. And the next day in school, he gets a tap on the shoulder from the girl who sits behind him in class, who's the school bully, who's always, telling the teacher to eat shit and clearly doesn't give a damn about anything. And she taps him on the shoulder and she says, "Hey, I saw you take that girl's gym bag the other day, and I'm going to out you to everybody as a pervert unless you do whatever I say." And so this sets up this really sadistic, dynamic, or this messy dynamic between this guy who doesn't know whether he's perverted or not, just trying to follow his heart. He made this one snap decision that's just come undone, or caused everything to come undone around him. And this is also this manga was also adapted into an anime. Anime doesn't go for the whole story. It just I think the anime covers maybe like half of the books or something. And it's
Yeah,
it's
I'll have to
super.
check that out.
Yeah, please do. I can't rate it highly enough. A lot of people hate it because it's like the animation style's rotoscoped. But I think,
Ooh,
yeah, I
that
think it's
sounds
one of the most.
appealing to me.
You might love it. Like a lot of people either really love it or really hate it. I think it's one of the most tender stories that I've come across in a long time. I think it's really real. It really taps into what it feels like to be a teenager with a crush on someone. What it feels like to question yourself and to not know whether you're normal or whether you're a pervert or uh, yeah, there's a lot of gray areas and there's a lot of stuff in this that's not quite black and white, like it's not quite clear cut. And that's how life is, you'll bad people will do great things, great
Yeah,
people will do shit things, and assholes will make great art, and great people will make terrible art, and nothing's clear cut like that. One of the biggest, and this is my father told me when I was young, and this is not true, by the way, but I thought it was at the time, and for the purposes of this story, it may as well be. But my father told me that Henry VIII wrote Greensleeves. I think this is a common misconception that Henry VIII wrote Greensleeves. And I just remember crying as a child because I was like, how could such a horrible man who beheaded his wives, how could he write such a beautiful song? I was just even almost tearing up thinking about it now. I was like it boggled my mind. Like that was a big lesson for me that you know, flawed people or nasty people can create beautiful things. Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry, that was a big random
no, it's
ramble.
okay. It's okay. I do want to talk about what the upcoming releases for you.
Yep.
What is coming up?
Okay, so there's a Talkshow Boy, or there are a bunch of Talkshow Boy songs which were still kicking around when I was doing live shows semi-regularly. So these are like around the same time. Like I've just put out this instrumental video, or this video for instrumental mix of Limitless Light. That is, or there were a whole bunch of songs that go along with that were to be an EP that never saw the light of day. So these are old Talkshow Boy songs. When I say old, like 2010, 2022, you know, around then.
Okay.
About 10 years old now, 12 years old. And they've just been sitting around on my computer, the instrumental versions. I'm just like, oh, put it out. And then back in my mind, I'm like, got to do it as a 12-inch, got to do it as a 12-inch. It's got to be a 12-inch record. And then, of course, that never happens because it costs thousands of dollars to press. And now I'm just like, it's probably time to start getting these songs out in whatever form. Like, if a label wants to put them out, approach me and say, hey, I'll put out your 12-inch. But otherwise, at this point, I'm just working on getting the songs good, getting vocal tracks on there, making them sound as good as can be. Let me have a look at and see what we have, because we've got a bunch of songs. Yeah, it's going to be called Limitless Light, new Talkshow Boy EP.
Okay.
And yeah, there's some chiptune stuff on there. There's some more punkier stuff. When I say punkier, like fast and hard songs. There is a slower, poppier song, which is a bit more kind of 60s girl group vibe. There's like Limitless Lights on there. There's another track which is again very breaksy, ravey kind of stuff. And I'm also possibly going to put some instrumentals from which were old Keys Party tracks on the end. I might do that. We'll see.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all old music, and it's weird. It's weird that it's the idea of releasing music from 10 whatever years ago is weird to me, because to me it's stuff that I've had floating around for a decade. For everybody else it's all new. And I, of course, I like what I'm doing. Of course I like the newer music that I'm making more than the older stuff. So but I do like these songs, don't get me wrong. So what I'm trying to do is make them sound as good as I can, get them out so that I can just move on to the next thing. So next two big things. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked.
It's okay.
First thing that's coming out, 1 hour of Talkshow Boy instrumentals on cassette. It's coming out late September or early October. So I can say in a matter of weeks, like give it 3 weeks, give it 4 weeks, something like that. But yeah, in a matter of weeks, there will be a extremely limited edition, I should say. It's an extremely limited edition cassette. It will be coming out on the Pittsburgh-based label Autumn Sounds. Their website is theautumnsounds.com. and you can also check them out at autumnsounds.bandcamp.com. And
Okay.
their label, they put out some great stuff. They put out a tape by Jamie Stewart from Shushu. They put out the soundtrack and VHS for Shrek Retold. I don't
Okay.
know if you've seen this. It's basically,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen this.
you've seen this, yeah. So that they did that. And they put out some other, random crazy noise releases and avant folk, and they put out CDR, breakcore artist CDR. So they've done some interesting stuff. And this tape, like what it says on the box, 1 hour of Talkshow Boy instrumentals on cassette. It's going to have Limitless Light as the only new song. So there's the instrumental version of Limitless Light. Every other song that appears on this cassette is the instrumental version of a previously released Talkshow Boy song.
Okay.
So I'm just having a look over that. Sorry. Having a look over the track listing, and there are 27 songs on this. Yeah, so 27 songs, instrumental versions, everything from Perestroika Love through to Best Beast Ever, plus the instrumental of Limitless Light.
Okay. Awesome. And
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, your audio is a bit. Yep.
sorry, I knocked myself out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know if you caught what it says. 27 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything from instrumental versions of tracks from Perestroika Love through to Best Beast Ever.
Okay. Well.
And then, yeah, so 1 hour of Talk Show Boy instrumentals on cassette. Limitless Light, which is, can't remember how many songs it's going to be, but it's going to be about 9 or 10 songs. Yeah, something like that, 9 or 10 songs. Getting there with that. Again, I don't know how I'm going to release it, whether it's going to be just something I upload to YouTube, or, yeah, if someone approaches me and says, hey, I'll put it out, I'll listen to what they have to say. And then 69 Punk Songs, which is Adrian Alien Angel Band debut release.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, that's about 90% recorded, or 95%, 99%, something like that recorded. And like the stage I'm up to with that is basically
Tink-
refining,
tinkering it.
tinkering. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well. That that was. I'm looking forward to it, and
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to go, but
Okay.
but
Mm.
I want to keep in contact with you,
Yeah, absolutely.
and also when you get, you said you had a song in mind for the Carrie homage. Uh,
Yes.
when
Yes, I
that is
do.
when that is done,
Mm.
send that my way.
All right, I will. I will. I have, yeah, I have a couple of songs. I have a couple of songs in mind. It will be something from Limitless Light. Um, I will, yeah, send if you, uh, yeah, message me your email, and or I can upload it and send you a link either way.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, I would love that. That would be fantastic. And thank you again for arranging this interview and suggesting it and everything, because I
No
really, really
problem.
appreciate it.
No
I'm sorry if
problem.
I've been like rambling at a million miles an hour in a kind of inarticulate fashion, but I
Same.
hope
Same.
we've covered a lot of the question, or a lot of answers to the questions that you had, and
Yeah.
yeah, I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say again, like, to everybody who's listening to my music and who gives a damn, it does mean a lot to me. So thank you, and I hope that I can be healthy and productive, and you know, I hope that I can be the best. I hope I can be my best for my fans, um, and I hope that my fans are being good to themselves as well.
All right. Well, I had a great conversation with you talking about
Yeah,
everything from paganism to music to Frank Henenlotter to B
yeah,
movies.
yeah, yeah. But it's been real. It's been great.
Yeah, and make sure to when you get the chance to scan that stuff,
Yes, yeah,
scan that artwork, and send it my way.
yeah. Actually, maybe do message me your email because I'll send this stuff
Okay.
over to that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll send you my email over Facebook Messenger.
beautiful,
All
beautiful.
right,
Thank you again.
no problem.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
I got to head to work, but yeah, thank you so much. You too.
All right, have the best
Uh,
day you possibly can at work.
Thank you. You take care. I'll speak with you
You too.
soon. All right.
Speak to you
Catch up.
soon. Bye.
Bye.